welcome to the Untitled Podcast.
Oh, we still
Uh,
haven't decided a name?
yeah, we haven't, and that's okay, because we'll come up with one here in time, and it might be posted on the video. But um, we're gonna go ahead and just start with an introduction and just a little bit about your gaming interests and who you are. I'm Mason, and I would say my interests are pretty varied. I like all kinds of games. But I really focus in on action RPGs and story-driven titles. But definitely down to play some point-and-click adventure games and some strategy stuff as well. Um, and I definitely have a love for PlayStation and PlayStation trophies. So yeah, that's
Woo.
me.
And what are you currently playing?
Currently, I'm playing Scarlet Nexus, and I'm getting hyped for God of War Ragnarok.
Okay.
All
Brian
right.
or whoever.
So yeah, I'm Ryan. You guessed it. Uh, I'm a big ol' Sony pony as well. I like my PlayStation games. Uh, Third person action adventure, primarily platformers, 3D platformers. Of course, we don't get many of those nowadays, so I'm very sad. But I dabble in lots of things. Currently, between games, just recently finished up Horizon Forbidden West. Waiting on Ragnarok just around the corner. I might play some Lego Star Wars. Until then, to tide me over.
Isaiah,
All right.
who are you other than Isaiah?
So aside from being Isaiah, uh, like you, Mason, I kind of play a variety of games, but I primarily focus around fighting games, action games, and rhythm games. And currently, I'm playing Bayonetta 3. Aside from all the controversy, but we can get into that later.
What's your favorite rhythm game? Something like Guitar Hero. So you mean
Nah, yeah, that would be under there.
Beat Saber?
My favorite, that's a good one. It'd probably be between DJ Hero and one of the Hatsune Miku games.
Hmm.
I love those games.
I don't know that second entry. DJ Hero. I've never played personally, but remember that being a short-lived like hype train, I guess, because it's coming off a Rock Band and stuff.
Yeah, the first one was good. The second one's atrocious.
Mm. All right, Cheyenne. Who are you aside from Cheyenne?
Oh, yeah, I'm Cheyenne, and my favorite kind of games are farming sims.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are a
Woo.
lot of fun. But I do
Nice.
really enjoy the Assassin's Creed games. Those are a ton of fun, even though I didn't really play the older ones. And I'm playing Disney Dreamlight Valley right now.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Making friends with
Aw,
some
yeah.
Disney villains.
Aw, yeah.
With
Scar's a
like
fave.
Scar, yeah.
Mother Gothel, Ursula.
Cool. Well, this is the cast of our show, and we're gonna go ahead and get into our first segment. This is a gaming news segment where we're gonna go over a couple of articles, get some thoughts and opinions on, just the current news that we found interesting. So, the first one is why Uncharted and Sackboy are flopping on PC. Sony is learning that PC gamers won't just lap up any and all first party PlayStation games. So, this article, to kind of give synopsis, because we're not going to just read it all, but we'll pick out some parts and I'll get some questions out there for the panel. It's basically talking about the poor performance of the PC ports of those two games, or Uncharted and Sackboy. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection, and then the Sackboy Big Adventure game. They talked at first about how well God of War and Spider-Man and Horizon Zero Dawn did, and how it's not been the same down the line. And I guess before I get into the opinion of the writer, um, I'll look at some of the stats, show you guys the stats. He kind of brings up polling from the Steam charts. You got Uncharted here, has currently, as of an hour ago, almost 2,000 players. That's
pretty
pretty
good.
low. That's pretty
Oh.
good. I guess. I guess so. And
For like an
10,000
old
is peak.
game, that ain't bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's old in terms of the series is older, but the game recently came out not that long ago with the collection.
Wait, is Legacy of Thieves? Isn't that just the trilogy, or is that the latest one?
It's just 2, right, Ryan? You probably know
It's
better.
Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy, yeah. The
Oh,
trilogy
okay.
is separate, and that's not on PC at this moment.
Okay, so that's pretty bad numbers then.
I would say so, and the person in the article agrees. If we compare it with Days Gone, which is a PC port they've already released that didn't perform as well on PlayStation, it currently has, as of an hour ago, 4,014
Oh wow.
people with a peak of 27,000. So like almost
Hmm.
double the numbers. And it's
It's a
not as big.
significant difference.
Yeah.
So, and then when we go to Sackboy, the poor sad Sackboy has about
Oof.
231, and this one came out
Oh, man.
like Legacy of Thieves. I can't remember exactly when it launched, but this one, yeah, it came out this October. Some point. I don't know if October 28th it says right here, if that's when it first came out. Let me check on the other. No, October 27th is when that was released. So I think it's just throwing a number out there, but I am pretty sure that it came out this month, and it's already low numbers.
I really
Well,
like
that-
the article writer's choice of words to describe Sackboy.
Yeah, yeah. Before we get into the opinion of the writer that you guys read, what do you guys think? Personally, like why are these numbers so low?
Oh, that's an easy answer.
Yeah.
So my opinion, or my thesis, my theory, what I think realistically is why these two, especially Sackboy, they're not performing well is because, I mean, these characters have been around for quite a while, and people are probably burned out because Sackboy was never that big of a deal. Like, he's not Sony's Kirby. He's all right, but he's not that interesting of a character or game. I'm not surprised that that one's fell in. And then with Uncharted, it's because it's the most recent game that's a little surprising, but also it's not as open world as Days Gone, so I could see the retention not being as great.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, is Sackboy really less personable than Mario? Because I don't feel like
Absolutely.
Mario's really anything but a plumber who goes Yahoo or whatever.
Oh
Well,
my goodness.
Mario just has legacy though. That's it.
Yeah,
True.
he's been around for a long time. He's got that build up.
Hmm. What do you think, Ryan? Any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I was thinking you get this established franchise in Uncharted, but you also don't have the rest of the franchise available. So um, it's kind of a weird place to start at the end, especially if you've played the game pretty early on. The game asks you, "What's your favorite Uncharted game?" More or less. So it's it's an odd starting place. If it was me, I'd just be waiting for the trilogy to come out before I jump on this one. Um, but also, I'm thinking gameplay wise, Uncharted and Sackboy are not particularly deep mechanic wise. I mean, compared to Days Gone and Spider Man, open worlds, and God of War, there's more in depth combat. Um, so it could just be that these are too simple of an experience that people on PC aren't looking for. You'll just end up using, your mouse and a couple of keys or whatever. You can use your controller, of course, but um, yeah, it they're just not necessarily games that I can see appealing to the PC audience,
Yeah, I think
as well as the kind of franchise.
the
Middle
writer
point for Uncharted.
of this article kind of makes a similar statement that um, since it's the fourth game and like a side story game within the Uncharted series, that kind of doesn't give it a whole lot of backing for people who are like, oh, I look at the game and see that it's the fourth entry in. I'm not as interested. But I personally feel like the game kind of does stand on its own. Like if you were to be going right into Uncharted, you could be like, okay, this is like some former treasure hunter who's getting old and stuff, and it's a story of its own. You get to see flashbacks to when he was a kid, so you kind of get that background about the character that we didn't really get a ton of in the other ones either, other than 3. Like you don't really see what it was like when he's younger. So there's a little bit of a less establishment with the characters, but I think that kind of stands on its own. And I haven't played Sackboy, but obviously it's very different from the rest of the Little Big Planet series in terms of it's mainly a platformer. I don't know if it has any creation tools. And I don't know if you guys know that stuff.
No,
I
no
don't
idea.
think that it does. Maybe some character customization, but yeah, no creation as far as levels go.
Yeah.
So I mean that could be an effect. The writer talks about that. That not having creative tools kind of defeats the purpose of Little Big Planet on a PC port. Like they thought that would probably be the best, which honestly it would. Like being able to craft with a mouse and keyboard rather than a PlayStation controller would be really nice. You could build levels pretty quick, I think, and you could make some really cool new stuff. But they already shut their servers down, so I think that has a big part into why they were probably not going to port any games that are older than PS4 probably to PC. But he does mention in here part of it is like the failure of Little Big Planet or Sackboy. I want to call it Little Big Planet, but is because there's so many platformers on PC now. It's just like so crowded with really good platformers, and I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. There are some pretty amazing 2D platformers, which he mentions, like he gives a link to. But do you guys personally like put 2D platformers in the same category as a 3D platformer? Like, do you have the same level of interest as a player in those two genres, I guess, or classifications?
I'm not sure if I really differentiate them necessarily, but I understand where you're coming from, where they certainly are viewed differently, I think, by the general public. Because 3D is a little more, there's more to it, right? There's more, create spatial awareness and creativity, and you can do this or that. But the 2D is your left and right. So, I mean, I can agree with that.
Yeah, I certainly don't equate them just art style wise, but um, yeah, like you were saying, there's such differences in the gameplay that they really should be platformers should not be used to describe 2D and 3D. Or they should be distinguished, I should say.
Yep. Because I would say a game like Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter, some of my favorites, Ryan's, and probably all of us in here. um, it's not the same as like Ori and the Blind Forest or Will o' the Wisps and stuff. Though
Right.
those are also amazing platformer games. Like I would go for the 3D platformer over those. In terms of my interest. So when we're talking about a broad audience of people, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, so many people want to play platformers. If they want to play them on PC, they can because there's so many. And it's like I go, okay, if I was like to say that specifically for 3D platformers, I can't think of anything but like Psychonauts recently that has come out that is 3D platformer that's a PC game.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
Thinking about franchises that are mixed in their styles, particularly Zelda and Mario. When people are talking about them, they differentiate the 2D Zeldas or the 3D Zeldas, the 2D Mario or the 3D Mario. So even within those franchises, especially Mario, it's all platformers. But when people are talking about it, they make sure to distinguish uh, which ones they prefer. Many people think the 3D Marios are trash. versus the 2D. But yeah, worth making the distinction.
So I would say that there's just like some things in this article that I want to see what other people thought on it. Because I would disagree with his argument there that it's like, oh, it's such a crowded scene that that's why he got lost. But he also makes a point that basically just no one cares about Sackboy, and it's weird to me coming from PlayStation 3 generation, being like loving the Little Big Planet games and just wanting to see them continue, and they just dropped off basically after PS3. I mean, Little Big Planet 3, I don't think was even made by Media Molecule directly, and it was a pretty bad game. But so I could see. I feel like there's probably still a strong fan base there that probably doesn't care to play the next entry on PC though. So there's a quote I guess that I kind of maybe wanted to read. That they talk about this concept of prospective game buying. I guess I don't really have to read the quote so much as explain it. But it's basically the idea that people are buying games when ported to PC as a way to motivate developers and publishers to continue to release games to those platforms. So, like, say, oh, I'm going to back this Uncharted game that's now on PC because I want Bloodborne on PC. And it's like, he talks about how that's happening, but I can't see how that would actually be effective. Like, I could see some people doing that, but not a large enough amount that developers would care, or publishers, I should say, more than anything, because it's probably not really in developers' hands. They're like, they do what the publisher says. So they're like, if they give us the funds to port it, we'll do it. But otherwise, we'd love it to be on PC, but we can't. So, what do you guys
Well,
think about that?
also, it's weird that people would have the idea like, hey, let me dump money into Uncharted because the company who makes a whole different game will maybe put it on PC. That is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that line of thinking can apply sometimes. I will have similar thoughts to that occasionally, but it's like it still comes down to, am I going to like this game? I'm not just going to buy
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just going to buy a PlayStation branded thing in the hopes that later I can get the PlayStation branded thing that I actually want. It's still got to be very relevant to me. I can't imagine that there's enough people, buying Uncharted and then not playing it just because they want Bloodborne. I can't imagine there's nearly enough people to really move the needle on that.
It could certainly be a
They're gonna have to
situation
buy
of
every release.
it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Because you don't want to reward a negative cause per se. Like, why fund something for the hopes of something that's so far out there? Very weird.
I was wondering if there was similar like push. What titles are there coming out that are like for Nintendo, like on Nintendo side, like people really want to come to Switch?
It would mostly be old games. Like, people are like, oh, we want Mario 64. We want. Did they like everyone wants the retro games? But I mean, realistically, just because you feed into Nintendo, like, here, I'll buy the new Smash Brothers. Maybe they'll give me Smash 64. It's not happening.
Mm.
I think that line of thinking works for certain companies. For an example, Capcom put out the Fighting Game Anniversary Collection, right?
Mm.
And the significance of that is majority of the collection are Dark Stalker games, which they quit making since like 2010. So the idea was, and it still stands, if that sold well, okay, then they'll make a new Darkstalkers. But if it doesn't sell well, that franchise is done. So I think in certain situations that may be the case, but it's very tough for you to say, if I buy a Sony game, then From Software will think about giving us a game. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually more franchise specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like motivation too. Like, is the company releasing this title as a way to get its feelers out there to go, all right, how much do people really want this? Versus PC ports. That's another question I was going to ask you guys. Is like, what is the intention? Like, this person states their intention a little bit. They kind of mention near the end about how this could be a way that they're getting their first party games onto PC because they're going to create a new subscription service like Game Pass that goes to PC where you can play a lot of the games on PC. But like, is that the intention? Because are they wanting to know, okay, people are going to fund this, or are they basically like, well, this game's been out for a while and it's running out of juice on the PlayStation, so let's bring it to new platforms so we can get more sales off of it, even though it's older, because it was exclusive before. Now we'll get a whole nother audience, or
Well,
other reasons. Like, what are reasons you guys might think that they're trying
funny
to do this?
enough, that kind of is in relation to the article I posted. But because what it says is PlayStation are starting to push more of their old games on the PC and mobile. So I assume it has to be from a point of, all right, we've milked this cow. How can we milk it a little more?
Yeah.
I've always assumed that it's from the perspective of trying to seed new customers to the console. They release Horizon and God of War shortly before their sequels come out on PS5. They want to get any people who are holding out, anyone who hasn't touched the franchise, get them to play it on PC. And then shortly after they're done, oh, look, a sequel. I
Yep.
can get it on PS5 and play it right now. That has seemed to always been the angle of attack. But yeah, I don't know. With Uncharted, it's kind of it doesn't really fit that formula, unless I don't know they're trying to tie in with the movie or something. But
Yeah.
I think it is smart to do it that way. To the kind of like what you're saying, like these games have run their course, so now it's okay to put them on PC, but we should do it in a way that will try to bring people in for the new game when the new game comes out. I just hope that, well, it would be easy to then just really lean into that and then just start dumping things onto PC without any real rhyme or reason. And then before you know it, you've gotten rid of your whole backlog, or your whole back catalog, the whole thing that makes the console exclusives special.
You think if they go that route, there's the fear of like, okay, PC people are just going to wait for the PC port because they're like, well, why buy this console when I know they're going to put it on my console?
I think they're not going to do that. I think their intention is almost psychological. It's that, oh, this game is on PC, I gotta try it out because I couldn't before. And then they're like, wow, okay, this series is really good. And then they see another one's coming out. They're gonna go, oh, I really enjoyed that last one. It might be worth just buying the console to get that game, or a few series that are exclusive to that console because they don't want to wait. We're impatient people, which people have good self control, but you know they play off of that. They want to play into your self control and be like, okay, well, I'm not going to wait 3 years because it's usually like I can't even. Which one has been the longest? I guess would be Uncharted. Is the one that's been was released the longest ago. It's the oldest one. Because God of War came out not that long ago. Spider-Man Horizon, where 2018 for God of War, 2018 for Spider-Man, and 2017 I think for Horizon Zero. So they give it a little bit of time and then release it out there, but it might be too long of a time for people to want to wait.
Yeah, I think that timing is where it's really important. Days Gone had a pretty short window between initial release and then PC release.
Oh,
But at the same time, I think they've kind of given up on that franchise. Like the developer pitched a sequel, but they were turned down on that. So it sounds like we're not getting any more Days Gone games. It may have been after that decision that then they decide to go ahead and release it on PC, because then the timing doesn't matter. But yeah, the a good strategy would be to make it a long wait, several years, so that it's not like a game comes out, you wait a couple of months and the price goes down. You don't necessarily want to do that same kind of thing if you're trying to pull people from PC to console.
yeah,
You want to make them really wait a long time.
yeah. Cheyenne, any thoughts about all this stuff? Just things that run through your head on this topic?
Well, I'm not super sure about like what's going through Sony's head, but I do know I would agree with the author of this as far as why a lot of people did not purchase Uncharted or have not like actively been playing it, because even though you said it could be a standalone game, I don't think I would really want to buy the last 2 games of a series
Yeah.
when, yeah, it's just like maybe it could be fun, but it just doesn't feel. It feels like I'm missing like a good section of the franchise because you're missing the first 2 games,
Yeah.
so
It's a
you
risk.
don't really, yeah, you don't really know these characters like all the other people who do have PlayStations know them.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think people can probably really feel that there's a lot of character payoff stuff going to be happening in this game
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
that even though they're not directly connected narratively, it is those relationships and those payoffs that you're not going to be understanding if you just jump into number 4.
Yeah. And the second game that's part of the collection, that's 2 different characters, and are either of those characters in 4?
They are, yeah.
Okay, I wasn't for sure.
One of them is, but the other one was not.
Okay,
Chloe was not in 4.
so then
Oh.
you just have like this random person that you don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. If you haven't played 1 through 3, you wouldn't know who Chloe is. That's true. And then she's the protagonist, so like the playable character. So already being a fan is pretty important when the title is 4 and 5. Technically, that's really late into the game, but
Yeah.
they obviously wanted to do it with a game, at least creating this collection for games that are graphically up to par, because it's was mainly intended for a PlayStation 5 release, right? But it is a PS4 as well, or is it not a PS4? The Legacy Collection.
I think it is only 5 actually.
Yeah. So I
Really?
think it was
I'm not sure.
partially a graphics boost was kind of the idea they were going to go with it. Being able to run at higher frame rates and probably some remastering type elements, but not obviously like remake. But yeah, so I guess what we have to end with is that when a game gets PC ported from PlayStation, it could either mean a sequel's coming out or the series is done, like Days Gone potentially, and they're just like, all right, let's see if we can get some more money out of it before it's no longer a big deal.
Probably
So,
Sackboy too, I guess. So long,
yep,
partner.
yep, I know, right? Our next article, Isaiah, you can spearhead this.
All right, so whether you guys read this or not, I took some pretty pertinent Spark notes, and then I got one question I'll ask at the end of it. We'll just kind of jump from there. So obviously, as the title says, PlayStation's new PlayStation Plus subscriptions are off to a rocky start. So here's kind of the breakdown of what's going on. So PlayStation Plus has fell from 470.3 million to 450 million subscribers this quarter. And apparently they've been declining for the last 3 quarters in a row. And I believe on that last sentence, on the last sentence of the first paragraph, it says that they, for whatever reason, that it should be kind of a good deal because people can play games to download and or stream. Personally, I think the stream part is a little weird, but obviously a lot of us here don't agree with streaming games anyway. Outside of that, so with the decline in subscribers, Sony still has increased revenue. So they've went from 679 million to 794 million, which is implying that subscribers are spending more money on the network services. So even though they don't have a lot of people using the PlayStation Plus, the people who are using it are spending more money than they were before.
That's probably because of the new plan that they created, up in your price as a subscriber in general.
That's
right?
what I'm thinking.
Like, is that the different tiers people have dropped off because I don't. Some people may have dropped off because they're just not going to pay for the basic
More.
essential tier, which
Mm-hmm.
is the same price. But the people who have stayed on have potentially upped their subscription to premium.
Yeah, I assume the people who are paying are going for the biggest one they can get. So those are
Yeah.
like the hardcore fans. So
which
due
that might drop
to
off.
oh, go ahead.
I'm thinking of how that could drop
I
off.
mean, it will drop off.
I think what it was is Sony promoted that if you already have a subscription, you're really only paying the difference. So it's like
Right.
you're only paying this much. So people go, "Oh, that's not big, big deal." But once next year hits, they'll be like, "Oh, do I resubscribe for that much? That's more than what I had to pay last time." But they won't realize, that the only reason they paid what they did the first time is because they already had a subscription. So they're just paying the difference. But
Mm-hmm.
so I think that'll probably change things, as well as what Sony will do. Will they do day one releases? Will they hold on to the being really adamant about not doing that? That I
Yes.
think will have a huge effect down the line for people subscribing. That's just me personally, but yeah.
What are you gonna say, Ryan?
Well, I was gonna, if we want to keep going down the rabbit hole before we finish the article, but um, I have also been hearing that a lot of people are very disappointed with the, is it premium, the
Yeah.
very top level,
Mm-hmm.
just because the um, the classics catalog that we were promised has not quite lived up to expectations.
Yeah, it's very limited,
So
right?
yeah, it's very limited, and things are not being added as frequently as people thought they were going to. So that, in combination with, like you said, there a lot of people just did the pay the difference roundup, so it may come to the end of the term with those people, and they may not renew. So yeah, these numbers could continue to fall pretty drastically. Even the revenue in that case, if people do, the subscribers that do stay, if they don't decide to renew or they just go to the lower tiers, then yeah, they'll see subscriber numbers and revenue drop.
Well, to compound off of the decline in subscribers, their operating income has fell from 560 million to 285 million. So that's about 50% just gone. And
Oh wow.
their biggest claim to that decline is them acquiring Bungie, which probably does play into that.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's a big chunk
Yeah,
of money they had to
negative at the
use
moment.
within their
Yeah.
operations. It's funny that they counted in there because I wouldn't think that would be like a budget thing. I thought that would be like, paying people
Mm-hmm.
and manufacturing the product, the consoles and physical copies of the game and stuff.
It might be kind of an out for like executives like, oh, well, we bought
This
Bungie.
is why it's so low.
Yeah.
It's low this year
I mean,
because
yeah,
we spent a lot of money on this
it's a
company.
business expense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a result of the decline, Sony is now once again focusing on pushing out more PS5s, and they're going to be releasing more games on PC and mobile, which we kind of referenced in the prior conversation. So through all of that, apparently things are looking a little rocky for them right now, even though I'm sure they'll be fine. But the question I pose is, I don't believe PlayStation is hurting, but should they be so focused on getting subscribers? Because it really seems like they're really banking on that concurrent money coming in.
I don't think they should. And I'm not good with math, so I'm probably dumb about this because they obviously paying really smart people to do this. But I just think about it and I go, okay, what is the price of a subscription? Full
Mm-hmm.
year. If you do premium full year, I think it's 120.
I think so. Yeah.
And monthly, you'd be paying 18 a month. I did look at this because I made a note about this as I was reading this article. And I'm just thinking, say Call of Duty comes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say 20 million people buy it, which might be a low number. I'm not sure exactly on sales for Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's probably
It's
low.
huge though. 20
Yeah.
million is probably low, and maybe 50 or so millions more like the range they fall into. But just imagine that 20 million people pay $70 because of the current generation price on brand new games. That would take a monthly paying premium subscriber 4 months to even pay for that one game. But if they just paid a straight up 70 and that was just one purchase they made, but then say those same 20 million people or a chunk of that 20 million people
Mm-hmm.
buys Battlefield, whatever next Battlefield comes out, that's another $70. That's $140. So that's more than a year's worth of premium within 2 game purchases of a digital or physical copy of a game. So I'm just like, I have a really hard time understanding how without a really long span of time and a very consistent subscription numbers,
Mm-hmm.
how a subscription system could work out financially in their favor, unless there's a huge amount of money required in the manufacturing of physical copy games,
Which I
or
doubt.
everything's going digital. So digital copies take nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what security they have to have so that people can't duplicate it or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or to help try and prevent that.
I think all that's figured out at this point, but
Yeah. So then to create a digital copy, it's basically you give out people these duplicates of something, it's not even having to be manufactured.
So real quick off of well, you mentioned Call of Duty. I googled it real quick. So the last one, that Modern Warfare 2, that's pretty
Yeah.
recent, right?
Mhm.
So that sold $800 million worth of copies.
$100 million worth or 100
Yeah.
million copies?
No, $800 million worth. So I'm
Oh,
pretty
wait.
sure that's a pretty decent chunk on PlayStation, I'm
Yeah.
sure. And that was in within 3 days. So you're correct in the sense that they should focus on the games over subscriptions.
Yeah, that was my little rant, because that was the thing that stood out to me as well when at the end of the article, I haven't read it, was thinking about what is the purpose of wanting to up subscription stuff and, those different things. But
Yeah, I don't know.
thoughts from other people? What do you got?
well, they certainly wouldn't give away the brand new Call of Duty. They wouldn't put that on the subscription. Um, you would want to leave that for older games. You would want a game to go to a subscription service at the end of its life cycle, like we were talking about. But yeah, subscription math is hard to do because there you get the idea of um, whales 20% of your audience brings in 80% of your income. I'm sure somewhere in that math there's the people that you want that you want the 80% that's bringing in 20% of your revenue. You want those people to be on subscription because they're not spending much money anyway, so they can just give you a small bit of passive money. They won't notice and you'll get lots of money. But yeah, the people who are buying every AAA game as soon as it comes out and every Call of Duty every year and Madden and whatever else, uh, you want those people buying those titles full price at launch. And then, later on, maybe you can sprinkle in some of that into the subscription to keep that I don't know what you call it, cheaper audience, keep the cheaper audience happy. But yeah, it is always difficult finding any truth when talking about subscription services and revenue and subscriber numbers. I mean, the big example of that is Game Pass, but we still have no real numbers from that to talk about to really see how it works.
I always view the subscription service for games in particular. It's like you guys want this X amount of dollars for doing nothing. Like it seems a lot more valuable. Like, okay, we made the game, they bought it. Okay, now we know that the game was good because people didn't return it, they still got it. Whereas the subscription service, yeah, you know what they downloaded, but you're not. What does that really mean for you?
True. That's true. It doesn't cost them anything to make that commitment. So it's like it's me playing a game while I'm subscribed and have thousands of games as options to play. If I just play that game, and
Right.
the only way I guess they could track hours. They could track the hours
Yeah.
that someone plays a game, and that could help them determine they actually showed that they liked it versus downloads. Because if they do just download it, then it's like they may have just downloaded it. I mean, they're interested.
Subscription services for games make me nervous because it really devalues the games themselves. Like,
Absolutely.
you're just pumping everything, drop everything onto the subscription service, and then, it's just a buffet. You can just play whatever you want, and great, you have access to all these games. But as soon as the wind blows the wrong direction, then you're not playing that game anymore. You're playing this one. You're just bouncing around. Maybe can't decide anything. Yeah, you really lose that information or valuing each game for what it is.
I think I could see benefits to subscription to be, to counter some of maybe the idea of subscription is bad, which would kind of been saying, is that indie titles, the gaming scene is getting bigger because it's a lot easier to make a game with all the free open source tools out there and just free
Mhm.
game engines. Is that it'll help indies have more presence because
Sure. Yeah.
you release a game, you do all the work to get marketed in, but it's hard when you're indie to really get a true funding into marketing unless you get pretty good backing from, I don't know, publishers or Kickstarter and stuff like that. But if it's on a subscription service, someone will just keep going through and they'll just see maybe the cover of your game and it catches their eye, and they get to play it with no risk. Like people aren't going to be like, that game looks
Yeah.
so I'll never play it because I don't want to put the money in. But they're like, oh, I already put my money in. It's for the month, so I can just play it. And then they'll, word of mouth will spread that, oh, I really liked this game that I would have never bought for $30, outside of that, but now they did. So
And if they really like it, they'll want to support those indie artists,
yeah,
those indie developers, and just buy it.
yeah. If they see that there's if they want like a physical copy or the sequel, yep.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
exposure is very valuable on the smaller scale.
There's also the concern if once a games or whatever hits subscription strictly, then it's you got the system of moderation, right? Because if it's a Sony, if you're on PlayStation Store, they're not showing you indie games, they're showing you PlayStation games. So then you may have to start digging for those good indie games because what they're going to show you on that front page is going to be their stuff. Same with Xbox and Nintendo.
Yeah. I mean, they could if they're going to be, if they really flesh out their subscription stuff, it should be in a way that it's like Netflix, where it's like, this is for you because it shows interest. You have a similar interest in these types of games, or just like similar interest in shows. Then they
It
should
should
be
be.
giving you what you would want to play rather than just like, here's these titles we want marketed and forget about these ones that are small.
But you got to think they got all these people in power who are like, well, is our games doing good? I don't care about little Susie Q in Colorado. Is our game doing good? Why don't my kids see our game on the front page?
I think AAA is going to be concerned about their digital and physical sales rather than the performance within the subscription, if they're that concerned, because
Well,
that's what's going to make the money.
I'm saying it when games get to a point where it's only subscription digital.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I'm talking about when it's no physical anymore.
true.
The companies are still, yeah, because they're still going to cater to their brand.
When that happens, it'll all be trash anyway, so I won't be playing it.
That's true.
I mean, it could become like, I mean, so Microsoft buying a lot of these companies to then have exclusivity for then to put day one on their subscription services, to me is like, I'm curious if it'll be, here's the major streaming services, or if each publisher who has the funding will start to do their own and they won't share their stuff. And it'll become like cable for video games. Like you're paying for packages of stuff, like Ubisoft
It'll be like
would just
streaming.
have all their stuff on their service. And yeah, it'll become kind of like launchers, like they had for like Origins and Steam, and those will all kind of become
That'd be terrible.
their own thing with exclusivity.
That would
I don't know if
suck.
it'd be like that, but that would be terrible. Because then you wouldn't be paying, $18 a month to get this catalog. You'd be paying $18 a month to literally get a very limited amount of games.
Speaking during the last article about, we were talking about the idea of buying a game in hopes that they bring another game to PC. Voting with your wallet. Let's vote with our wallet and not do anything with these subscriptions. Make them completely unprofitable, so that all this decline in quality and choice doesn't happen.
That'd be nice, wouldn't
Just keep
it?
buying the games you want to buy, and that's it.
Yeah, there was a number in here. I don't know if you guys see if I'm highlighting on your screens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But physical 62.5 million physical copies of games, a reduction of 20% compared to the same quarter last year. 20% is a pretty big number for a decrease in physical sales. Like,
Yeah,
physical is on its way out.
for
And
sure.
it's so frustrating because I bought a lot of digital stuff and I'm still somewhat comfortable with digital because I know as long as I don't get hacked, I guess, then I gotta keep
Yeah,
those things forever. But like once it
PlayStation.
becomes, yeah, trying. What do you have?
Yeah, PlayStation doesn't. I've heard is not terribly reliable if you do get hacked. Like,
Yeah.
if you get hacked, you'll lose your games, and that's not a great system to have. If you're trying to like ease out of physical and ease in with digital, then you need to make sure that your digital copies are also secure, and apparently they're not doing a great job of that.
Oh yeah. That's gonna be a big problem if they don't figure out how to properly, refund people or whatever if something
Yeah,
like that happens. I could definitely see like, I mean, I don't know, like maybe there's scams out there. Maybe that's why they don't do it is that people like buy a bunch of content, have like they hack themselves basically. They're like, oh, I got hacked, give me my money back, and somehow they benefit from that. To me, it would be that they get the same amount of money back. So what does it really do for them? But or maybe they get those games, and I don't know.
Yeah, just activate the games on a new account or something.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, there's
So
too many of those stories of hacking or just games suddenly being removed from availability from the stores that I don't think I'll ever have confidence fully in a digital ecosystem. So I'm still sticking with physical for as long as I possibly can.
Well,
yeah,
another fear that I've personally witnessed and experienced, and I'm not sure if you guys have either. You could kind of say PT was like this, but there are certain
Yeah,
games that if it's pulled, it's gone.
Yeah.
Even if you had it, it's out. Like on
yeah,
the
yeah,
PS3, I had bought Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It was only digital, and then as games come out, I'm like, I'm running out of space. Let me delete this. I'll re-download it later. It's gone forever now. You can't
yeah,
get it even if you purchased it. It's gone.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
that
always a
that one's
fear.
weird. PS3 is doing that. I think that you cannot claim downloadable content anymore for your games, even if you've bought them. And that might have been like
Hmm.
just in Europe or something weird, but maybe it's in the US as well. But they're like, they're going out. They're just like, even though you bought this and it's in your library, you still can't get it anymore if you haven't already downloaded it. Or it might have been, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was downloading it. So if you did download
Yeah.
it, you have it. But once the date hits or something and you haven't
Yeah, it's
downloaded it,
gone.
you can't. Like,
It's like they're cutting off access to the server. So even if you've maybe got the game physical, but there's DLC that, yeah, the only way to get it is online. So, hmm,
crazy. Because there's some huge games that
scary.
are on older consoles that haven't even been ported to the newer consoles
And
that
they
have a lot
probably
of
won't.
DLC. Like Fallout
Yeah,
3, as far as I know, has not been ported into PS4 or 5.
I don't think so.
And that had a ton of DLC, which some of it was like better than the base game. So it's like that would suck if they're just like, all right, unless you already have it downloaded, it's on there. It's like, well, what if I don't have space? So I need to not have it, and I'll just get it from my account. It's like, no, no, no longer, because we're just not gonna, make sure that that's possible. We're not gonna, I don't know, pay people to keep the servers up or whatever.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
scary thing. And then on the side of subscriptions, you quit paying it for a month, you lose all the access to those games.
yeah, that's you have no ownership when it goes to subscription though.
Uh-huh.
And it luckily when Stadia shut down, Google was generous enough to be like, all right, we're refunding you everything that you've paid for. And it was like,
Yeah.
I don't remember how much is it, like $70 million or 7 million or something?
Dang.
It might not have
Well,
It's
been.
for
like
Google.
$70, yeah, that they had to pay back in total, I think. Oh, million, yeah, yeah.
Something.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Because enough people
Yeah,
bought stuff, but it wasn't profitable enough that they shut it down.
there's like hardware and everything that I was hearing, like
Yeah.
special controllers or streaming dongles or whatever the heck they sold. But yeah, that was very unique, upstanding of them.
I think that's a
Never
good
again.
example of the future of subscription services, though. Like, people are gonna have
It
to
ain't
go,
gonna work. Don't try it.
yeah, they're gonna go, oh well, I'll get my money back if anything happens. Guess what? You probably won't. Like,
Yeah.
you know, because well, it's a little different. Stadia, you did buy individual games after you had the service versus
Right.
PlayStation,
Um,
Plus and Game Pass. You don't ever purchase them.
I feel like once you put X amount of dollars into a subscription, they should be like, all right, well, this is the equivalent of one game, so pick a game out of your catalog that you want to keep.
They had that kind of the monthly games. You know, you paid for it, and well, I guess yeah. If you don't keep paying, you can't access them, but it will be connected to your account. So if you had PlayStation Plus and you don't anymore, you come back, you have full access to those games again. It's not like they're just like removed from your account because you don't have them, and then when you come back, you can't play them. It's kind of like they unlock permanent games for you, but
Uh-huh.
you know,
Yeah, I think they should have like if you're paying the $10 monthly, after 5 months, okay, we'll let you pick one of these $50 games that you play a lot, and now you own it on the system.
that could be interesting.
That would be
back
cool.
in PS3 when Sony got mega hacked for like
Oh,
a
I
week.
remember that.
They were like,
Yeah.
"Here's 5 games you can choose, and it's
And they
yours."
sucked.
Infamous was on
Infamous
there.
one,
That's all-
baby. Yeah.
Yep, I
It
Of
remember
course,
was
we
that.
all had it already.
Yep, I know.
I didn't. It was what? It was Infamous, Little Big Planet, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and like some other crap.
You didn't want Sonic?
Yeah, I think I had some indie
Well, I
game.
did get Sonic.
I think I got Dead Nation. Dead Nation was the game I think
That's
I
right. I
got
had
when
Dead
that.
Nation too, the
from
top-down
that.
zombie game.
Yep, that's the one I
Yeah.
got when that happened. Wow, what a memory. Well, unless we have more to say on this topic, we'll move on to the next segment.
My last statement on this
yeah.
topic: as artists, as we all are here, subscriptions are the death of us.
Yeah.
Yep.
As far as games go, that's what'll put it on the ground. The next segment we have here is going to be a gameplay preview. We are going to do some gameplay segments or trailers that we're going to kind of commentate about our thoughts on it. So we're going to kind of watch it and pause it and talk about it. So if you have not seen this Resident Evil 4 extended gameplay footage, we'll have a link in the description on the video that you'll be able to watch it, and you can watch it before watching our content. Up to you, but that's what we're gonna do here. Me.
I'm a little bit of a RE4 buff, so I might give you guys some context to things you didn't know about.
Perfect. I know exactly 0 things about Resident Evil.
Beautiful.
Same.
You're gonna learn something today.
Now, you're like a hotel manager, right? And one of your residents is evil. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
what I've
in
heard.
this one, 4 of them are evil. You just have to figure out which is the resident evil.
Exactly.
They're all evil. That's why there's 4 of them. Jeez, Ryan.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Man, I know more than I thought.
Well, the best part is seeing the residents here. It's a pretty nice place to live. But let me know if audio is good for you guys. And
Yeah, that's great.
All right, so pause already.
pause already. Okay.
Yeah. So for those of you who have not played Resident Evil 4, or maybe it's been a while and you're unfamiliar, this game is generally brown. So like it's not this dark.
Oh yeah.
It's not this brooding. So it's a bit of a different feeling that they're aiming for.
Yeah. Going all the way back to PS2, and this little area would be canyons with like 2D textures put up on really flat rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got like a ton of foliage, this really good lighting. Like I feel like there were no shadows in Resident Evil 4. Like there was a lot of dark, but there was no shadows.
No.
Which is probably a PS2 thing. But
so you're saying it's a lot more colorful, but also more atmospheric.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Than the original. Is that what you'd say?
And they're going for a darker vibe.
Colors are always good.
Pause again.
Just pause again. All right.
Yeah. Leon has never had a crouch. He now has a crouch.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh, neat.
You're starting to sound like we're like the actual RE developers presenting this. They're like, we have something amazing to show you, and then they show
Introducing
you
some new
this.
features.
It's him walk and then crouch and then come up, and that was the end of it.
Oh, you're gonna
What?
you're
It's
gonna
like,
be
oh my goodness.
you're gonna be pausing quite a bit. I'll try to cut back on it though.
No, that's
No.
cool. Is there a jump?
No.
Oh, okay.
You sound like the guys who presented what's Call of Duty Ghost, and I'm like, the fish will swim away from you when
That
you
was
get
so
near
dumb.
them.
Groundbreaking AI.
He can
You
crouch.
can't jump in this game?
That's funny.
Yeah, no, you can't jump in the
What?
Evil games.
I hate games. I hate games that you can't jump in.
You can drop down ledges and climb up, but no like actual jumping.
Yeah, you always
If
get
you
a
can jump
button
over
prompt.
stuff, you can get away easier.
That's why I prefer to jump.
Isaiah, since we're probably going to be the ones talking back and forth on this, this first house here is supposed to be the first house in the game, right?
Yeah, and this is entirely different.
Because the first house of the game is like 2 stories, and you're like on the first floor, you interact with one enemy, and then you go to the second floor and you kind of get locked in. And what you'll see here in this part, but it's so much more in depth. There's so much more detail. This house is way bigger.
Now there's a basement. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't go in the basement. So there's a whole different level of scale to this game, which I think is going to be really cool to see. It'll make a big change in your experience because of, though it's the same places,
Mm-hmm.
it looks completely different.
Was I hearing that from maybe RE2 and RE3 remake that it was very much in the spirit of the original game, and yet it was still remixed just enough to keep it surprising, even for people who did know the old games?
For RE2, that was the case. For RE3, that was not the case.
Okay. It sounds like a very cool idea, though. So maybe that's what they're doing here.
Yeah, this was also successfully done in Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Ooh, shiny hair.
Anyone home?
We don't need to pause for that.
It's
Nah.
very nice here.
Yeah, the lighting is just so great. Like the new tech is really just strengthens the everything about this game.
Much to my dismay, the better technology gets, the more effective horror is.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
I agree completely. A mouse.
Now coming up here, I probably will have you pause. I'll let you know
Okay.
when. Right there, bam. Pause again. Okay, so in the original game, you are dropped off in this section of Spain by 2 police officers. But in this game, one of the police officers is now dead, which is implying that they also came with you out of the car.
Yeah, you kind of go on your own and leave them behind. So that
And
is interesting.
this is also a reference to the RE2 remake because when you see your first zombie, before that you see a dead cop or a dead person.
Uh-huh.
So now they're doing that
Yeah.
again.
Yep.
Mm.
That was a good reveal. When they revealed RE2 remake,
Yeah,
I read you.
that was really awesome.
the face is all like destroyed.
What's your situation? What the hell's going on? What was that? No fucking way.
Yeah, he drops F-bombs now.
The grappling in this game and like what you can do after has more of an RE6 feel to it.
Yo, you think
But
so?
we'll see that later. Yeah. I do like, I'm going to pause real quick. The crouching, you mentioned the crouching. And he's never had a crouch before is not that exciting. But thinking about what they can do with the fact that you can crouch, there's going to be stealth segments in the game.
Kind of what we
Which-
just saw.
Yeah. It was pretty weak there because the guy just walked by, so I don't know him crouching really did anything. But I could see that hallway. Let me go back and see. Let me just back. This hallway really makes me feel like RE7 when you first get into the house. You basically can only walk to like the dining room area, and then
Yeah.
there's like a rectangular hallway. Like you go this way, you take a left, and then you take a left again. And that's the only way you can go around the house, and you have no weapons. And that was honestly like one of the most terrifying parts of the game. It's right before you go into the garage and you have to fight the dude with the car and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Like Jack.
Yeah. And it's just I'm hoping there's stuff like that in this, where it's actually really pretty terrifying to be, needing to stealth. I have my doubts somewhat because I think you'll have a gun no matter what. There's not gonna be like a segment where you don't. But
Well, when you play as Maria or Ashley, I mean.
yeah, that would be interesting. Do you know that they're gonna have segments like that?
Well,
Did they
there's no way
record?
they're gonna cut that out. They had it in the original.
Were you played as her?
Yeah, Ashley. You get separated and you have to escape this little room while zombies are trying to get you, and there's like
yeah.
knight's armor.
Yes, yeah, in the castle.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
Yeah, I forgot
Salazar's
about that.
castle.
Salazar.
That's like a whole segment. That's one segment in the game, but yeah, that is pretty long segment if you haven't done it before.
Yeah.
There's like puzzles and stuff.
So while this is playing, it's probably safe to assume maybe 60 to 80% of assets are from RE8 because it's all kind of in the same theme, outside,
Yeah.
Renaissance-ish.
Interesting.
Yeah, it definitely has a look that it's just an enhanced. It's using the same
Bruce,
engine that RE2 and
this is Thunder
3
One.
remakes
here.
have.
What's your sit
It's
rep?
just like
Pause that
enhanced.
screen again.
Baby Eagle.
Someone's got a crush.
So this young lady, you never ever
Yeah.
see her in an office. You only see her on like a little screen that you talk to
Like
her
a
from
walkie-talkie.
area. Yeah.
Little Metal Gear Solid,
Yeah.
whatever that's called.
Oh, you got it.
Hmm.
That's all I
Interesting.
got for that. Now you get to see
Yep.
her in office.
Our intel was correct then. Well done.
I'm hoping
Something's
that
happening
he'll
to people here.
still ask her to go on a
That's
date at
what's
the end of the game.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's like, when are you free, Hunnigan?
Talk later.
So, yeah. So this is a little bit further after that segment, based on if the layout's going to be the same. I'm curious about that. Like in RE4 original, the areas were very distinct. Like
Yeah.
you loaded into another area. I have a feeling that it's going to be seamless, meaning there's going to be some pretty uniquely different areas to be able to make them all kind of flow together.
Yeah, like a
I don't know.
well-blended area.
I would like it to be like that because it would feel a little bit awkward having played RE2 and 3 where there's not really like all right, you walk to this part of the pathway, you can see more of the pathway, but we're just going to like load you into, loading screen and now you're here in a different area.
Yeah, they probably
Like,
won't have that
They've always been
problem.
seamless. Yeah. So that'll be cool to really be able to see how they make it a seamless environment throughout the entire game.
Hmm.
This segment
Was your
was
cop?
Yep.
like the most stressful segment in the first game, in the game originally.
Yeah, when you initially
like-
play, it's so scary.
Yeah.
Give Granny a kiss.
So there was
That was a
grapple
face
thing I was
shot.
talking about.
She survived.
yeah. Well, dude gets stabbed in the face too, and he just acts like whatever later. But this is what I was talking about, Isaiah, in terms of like he grappled the lady,
counter
shot her
move.
in the head, and then he's able to go up there and do a roundhouse kick. They brought the roundhouse kick from like RE6 back.
Well, the
So it's
the
not like-
grapple was her trying to bite him.
Yeah. So I guess the grapple itself hasn't really changed, but like when he pushes her back, he has that opportunity to kind of come in with a melee. I guess it's after he gets the headshot.
Hmm.
But it's just like some actiony elements rather than the survival stuff. Like the knife. You had to like bring out your knife, and then you kind of had to slowly knife them. So it wasn't easy to fight enemies. But now, when you can kind of do that, and you can knock down like 3 enemies at once, I think is that's a pretty big change from RE4.
We'll get into some more knife talk later in the video.
Yeah.
So what he's
This
about to
is
do
great.
is brand new as well.
Yep.
Didn't do this before.
Environmental weapon. Yeah. What do you guys think about that? How do you, Isaiah? How do you think that's going to be implemented, like more in the game? Environmental.
I
damage.
think the cow is certainly going to be a unique one-off. I doubt that that's going to
Yeah.
show up again. But
But lanterns?
the
Maybe?
lanterns
Drop
maybe.
lanterns to light people on fire?
I could definitely see there being more environmental things, maybe like the lantern in different locations in my head as I'm running it. But I mean, that's cool.
They had like barrels, right? You could blow up if people got close enough. Or is that
Yeah, they might have had like one or like it's not a bunch. They got a few.
Yeah. And there was a couple of segments where like they push a cart down like a hill or something,
Yeah.
and that would take out enemies if you like lined them up right.
I think that's the same kind of outside area.
Yeah. I think that might be when it gets to, like the graveyard area
Mhm.
from here. Yeah, on its way to like the church. But yeah, that'll be cool to see environmental stuff, which I'll have more about that later.
Just a heads up for Ryan and Cheyenne, Leon is not the most important person in this trailer.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There's a more important character who shows up.
Let me ask you something.
Okay.
Is this Leon?
Yeah, this is Leon we're looking at.
Okay. Okay. I thought
Leon's
so.
the pretty boy, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So this chainsaw dude is he's anonymous
this
with
person's gonna
instant death.
disappear.
Yeah.
Disappeared.
You want to avoid him at all costs.
Wow. Powerful shotgun.
Sorry, Isaiah. What?
Oh, you're good. I was just saying the chainsaw guy is a one-hit kill, so you always want to avoid him.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's really impressive.
So these freaky humans are definitely not zombies. What's the story
quite.
there? Or is that part of the story?
I don't want to give it away.
Spoilers, secrets. Okay.
I mean,
okay.
it's like a 30-year-old game. You should know this by now.
I mean,
but,
yeah.
You know, I won't say anything.
30
Okay.
years old.
There is like all Resident Evil. There's an infection. There's like a biohazard that's involved, but it might not quite make them zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Makes him ugly though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, okay. Make some
I
crazy
gotta go back
verse.
to this grapple though.
Yeah, that's a new
Talking
thing
about
too.
getting shot in the head. This right here, boom, right up into the
Oh,
jaw.
dang, yeah.
Also, a new enemy
And then
attack
he
is
just takes it.
now they hold
Yeah.
you and they'll place you in front of the chainsaw guy, which was never done before.
Oh.
So now they set you
Yeah.
up to get attacked.
Is that what
That'll-
Granny
that'll
was
come
doing
up.
with the little, the full Nelson?
Yeah.
That's what she's trying to. Yeah. He flipped it over. There'll be another one here that's pretty good
Yeah.
and connects.
All right. So this scene is very important.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
So
Tearing it
pause
down.
it. Pause it.
pinhole eyes.
Sorry.
Why's he
I
gotta
don't know,
destroy their
pause.
home?
There we go.
Okay, so
I go back.
Ah, a butt.
where you saw the
yes.
the little scene where he chopped down this wood, right, to make a ramp. In the
Yeah.
original game, the
Oh.
ramp is already there. It's not
Yeah.
created, so he had to create that. So maybe you can lead certain enemies in certain areas to open up new pathways.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Or cut off.
Yeah,
Like
or
that
cut
now
off.
may limit a mobility over there. So that I thought was really interesting too to see, especially for this segment, because though you can like go quite a few places to get away from the enemies, it's now playing it, it's not that crowded, you know, but like back in its time is like, wow, the amount of enemies coming at you at once is pretty overwhelming.
Yeah.
Which in this one it looks like it's way more, which is going to be really good. It's like going to be even more pressure on you to try and get away. But if he starts tearing down stuff and you can't like hide in the places that you're trying to hide in, it's going to be way better. Like he cut down that door earlier which is kind of how the original was. Is like you go into a house, you shut the door, and you barricade the door, and he'd get through it. So then you have to basically hide in another house. So that kind of did cut you off from being able to hide, but you could always run through them again.
Yeah.
But say he like breaks the door down and it's like becomes a pile of rubble or something, you can't go back in that house. It would just increase the pressure of being like, oh crap, I only have so many more places I can go without getting killed. So this kind
But
of makes me get that feel.
you don't think this is just a scripted event? You think this is
That's
dynamic and maybe
yeah, I'm
indicate
wanting it
what else is
to
available
be.
in the environment?
I
Oh,
feel like the way they
I mean,
present it here,
well,
like this
I
camera
mean, it can be a
angle,
tiny scripted event, but
yeah.
you think things like this will still be available around and optional?
I hope.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that when he went to cut that down, I bet if you never went over on that side of the screen, it would never trigger.
Okay. Interesting.
'Cause, yeah, this like it seemed kind of is very seamless how it goes from this to this.
The gameplay
Your
again.
hold.
How does it start? Where does it? How does
Yeah,
it go into that
it
cutscene with
actually
him?
is
Comes
kind of
around the
abrupt.
corner.
He gets caught actually what looks like it's probably over here, but then somehow he's over here, so that makes me think it's more of a scripted thing. But let's see here. See, like he
Oh,
goes
yeah.
into that area, but then he ends up somehow grabbed over there.
Oh, yeah. Maybe there's a
So
cut.
it
Yeah.
could be that it is scripted, and so thus he needs to be placed here, so it teleports him over there.
Gotcha.
Or maybe they took different gameplay clips, and this is where it was in this one. But maybe you don't even have to get grabbed. He'll just, if you run through here and he's that close
Yeah.
behind you, your character will stop here, and you'll watch him cut it down, and then you can run away again or something.
And get ready to pause again. And pause. Alright, so originally the game plan of this game is you shoot the zombies in the leg and then you knife them on the floor. The knife was invincible in the
Okay.
original game, but as you can notice, the knife now has a meter by it, which means
I was
that
gonna mention that earlier.
you're going to have to either craft it or fix it, whichever the case. But with this limited knife, it makes you a little bit more powerful, as we're about to see as he unpauses it, because now when you hit an enemy on the ground, watch what happens. Instant kill.
Yep.
Whereas before,
okay.
you have to swing at the floor like 5 or 6 times to kill a guy.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So it just like makes them vulnerable, but you still have to kind of
Uh-huh.
chip away their health or whatever, which will take you time, make you vulnerable.
And now for the final benefit of having a knife,
Yes.
the most important benefit of having a knife
Well,
is final shot.
It's actually his gun he
The
uses.
guard chainsaws.
Wait, it is his knife.
Yeah, his gun.
Beautiful.
Was it?
Yeah. Like I assume that'll probably cut your durability down quite a bit on your
Absolutely.
crafted weapon.
Also, what is in a separate trailer, but it also has to do with the knife. If you block at the perfect time that they hit you, it's a parry.
Yeah. There's counterattacks kind of vibe that's
Mhm.
going on here, which would be real cool. But could be, abused by people who get good at it, or are already great at the game. They
I
could be like,
think-
oh sweet, I can like really milk this and just basically counterattack everybody and just speed run the game.
I think that's why they gave the knife durability, because I'm willing to bet the parry still takes a chunk of that off.
Yeah, overall, I'm really excited. I think it's going to be pretty true to the game. We didn't watch the trailer, but when you see the trailer, you get to see other characters, and there's just things about like Ashley that are a little weird in terms of she seems a lot older, which kind of threw me off because Leon's has a little bit of a chemistry. It seems like near the end of the game, kind of with her. Maybe it's me misreading stuff. I don't know. Isaiah, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd disagree with that.
And you disagree with it?
Yeah, because obviously we know Leon and Ada Wong is kind of a thing, but
Yeah.
Leon, I think he comes off as a scumbag in the first game because you can look up her dress and and she'll say stuff like "stop looking" and things like that.
That's just Japanese stuff,
I know.
What
It's
the?
No, Leon
Like
is kind of a
anime.
womanizer though. Every lady likes him.
Yeah.
Every chick likes him.
He asks
That's
him
what
out
I've
to dinner
noticed.
all the time. So you want to get dinner? You want to get dinner? That's like always his go-to. He's just immediately.
I don't know if he's asking that many times. Maybe he's not so successful.
Yeah.
True.
Well, and then somebody we didn't see in this trailer, I was thinking of the wrong one. There's a guy that you get your supplies from in the game called the Merchant,
Oh yeah.
who is a very important role to the fourth game. Very iconic character.
What you buying?
Yeah. An Australian zombie guy.
He always teleports ahead of you somehow. It's like, how did you get here? Like
Mhm.
Magic.
all those enemies, you just teleported to the next place. It's not as bad as the guy in RE8 though. Like the way he's able to get around, I don't
Yeah,
know.
the
He's a
Duke,
pretty huge dude. Seems like it'd be hard for him to sneak around.
who is also friends with the guy from RE4.
Oh yeah.
They have a few references to Duke. Yeah, he talks. He says, "What are you buying?" He's like, "Haha, that's a friend of mine."
Hmm.
But
Well,
this game is probably the biggest moneymaker Capcom has a hold of.
oof.
So this game
Yep.
has to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I made you guys pause a lot. You probably ruined the experience for you.
No. I gave a notice that was gonna happen. But
Okay.
watch this before you watch our stuff, or else you'll miss something. Won't get
Ryan.
the true experience.
It's cool, yeah. No, I watched it. I did watch it ahead of time. It was
Okay.
very informative to have this breakdown.
Okay.
That's how I knew
Yep.
the one lady who was gonna get shot was gonna disappear.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
Last segment we have called the Gaming Classics segment this week is going to be talking about PlayStation Classics. We're favorite PlayStation pretty well here in this group. So I thought it'd be fun to discuss a little bit about what our favorite games are in each generation of consoles, and just kind of maybe a little bit about each one of why it's your favorite. And yeah, we could just kind of talk as we go about that. So I'll go ahead and go first. I have a list written down. So
Now, are the games owned by Sony, or are they just on the console?
they are on the
Okay.
console. Yeah. So it could be a third party company that makes it. My first game on my list is for PlayStation 1, Twisted Metal 2. There's a lot of games that I liked, like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, that are connected to companies I really liked, but Twisted Metal 2 just had a lot of nostalgia. It's still fun to me to play this game. Just really fun combat and control for its time, like the physics and everything. Uh, I really liked this map actually. Paris, you could go up in the Eiffel Tower and you could like shoot missiles out at people, and it's just fun to wait for them, camp up there for them to teleport up into the tower, and you could just start taking them out.
Crazy.
So that's definitely one of my favorites. Axel and Sweet Tooth are the people I played the most. So creepy, crazy clown, and the dude whose arms are like melted onto a pair of tires or locked into. Yeah. So that's PlayStation 1. I don't know if anybody else has any unique experiences with that title.
I like Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
Never even seen it.
I
The
have not played it, but I know about it.
the PS3 entry was good, but it didn't do like the others any justice yet. It's too different, I think, and yeah, it was weird. Yeah. Trying to be edgy, and that was pretty much it.
I don't think this one's trying to be edgy. He's a
I
giant
mean they
clown.
were, but it's like they were rated T. Those other ones are like pretty severely rated M because they're like everybody's basically a
Mhm.
serial killer half the
Oh,
time,
jeez.
and like Twisted Metal Black, I think is where it turned, which that was a great game too in terms of gameplay. It held more true to the originals, I feel like, than PS3 entry did. But
And PS1,
topic.
this was back when being edgy was cool.
Yeah. Like the things that were in the story were ridiculous. Like Spectre, I think it was. He wanted everybody to see him, so his wish was granted, and his face was stretched across the sky. Like that's
Oh,
ridiculous.
I think you've shown me
Like
that.
they stretched his face across the sky. It's like super cartoony. But like in Twisted Metal Black, it's like the one SWAT dude. I can't remember what his name is right now, off the top of my head. But his like wish was that he could go back to when there was like a hostage situation. He didn't accidentally kill somebody. And what happens is he doesn't like accidentally kill them, but then he gets killed, and it's like it's like that's so depressing. It's not like funny. It's terrible ending. So yeah. PlayStation 2, Ratchet and Clank, up your arsenal.
I think
Big
we should
parts.
go. I think
Oh
we should
yeah,
go
yeah,
PlayStation 1 through each person.
sure. All right, Ryan. We'll go in the Ryan, Isaiah, Cheyenne order.
All right. Well, I have an official answer that is kind of cheating. So then I have two backup answers. I'm going to say the Spyro games as a whole. But the cheat is that I really only played the PS4 remake. I didn't actually play it on PS1.
That
But
doesn't count.
I mean, it's the same. It's the
That's
same
on
game, right?
PS1. I mean, it is, but
It
it
is
doesn't.
originally. Well, I still had a great time with those on PS4. Surprisingly, I really love them like way more than I even thought that I was going to. Um, but yeah, those games are great. My backup answers are Tony Hawk Pro Skater and
Hell
also
yeah.
Frogger, but it's
Ooh.
like it's purely from just a nostalgic point of view. Like I never really actually played a whole lot of either of these games. But when I think PS1, these are the games that come to mind because
Even Spyro PS1.
yeah, it's like I never even understood the concept of like making progress in a game or unlocking new stuff or trying to like 100% it. Like that stuff wasn't even in my head at the time that I had a PS1. So I just pop a game in, play the first level for a little while, and then be done. And then later I'd play that same level again. You know, that's just how I got my enjoyment out of it.
Mhm.
So yeah, games that I really played. I'd probably say Tony Hawk is my favorite, but you know, Spyro still counts. And those games really blew me away. Um, yeah,
Yeah, the core
Isaiah, it
gameplay.
sounds like you liked some Tony Hawk.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Pro Skater? It wasn't my
Yeah,
favorite, but I mean, going to like a cousin's house and being like, "Hey, I bet you I can break through that glass on the third floor." Yeah, that was a great time.
yep, yeah, it's good
And I
stuff.
mean, I grew up with the demo disc. I didn't even have the game.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, I never played the Tony Hawk games like myself personally, but yeah, it definitely is something like I played at a friend's house, and it is a good time.
Oh
I don't know
yeah.
if I can see myself playing it like consistently, like every entry. Be like, okay, I
Nah,
gotta get this next one, but as
nah,
like a
you do one,
nostalgic
you're
thing,
good.
yeah.
All right, Cheyenne, your turn.
Oh, was that yours? Pro Skater?
No, no, no. I'm just you said everyone should go, so I'm allowing you to go
Oh,
ahead of
okay.
me.
Okay. Well, I have two because I have different reasons. I have Digimon World
Okay.
because that was one that I really wanted to know how to play. I just could never figure it out because I don't know, I was too young or something. Nothing was clicking for me, but it was fun to just like run around the tracks that it has. But I never actually played the game. The other one was Spyro, which I didn't actually play, but I watched my brother play all the time. So, but
Fun
I
game
did
to
end up,
watch.
yeah,
It's like
I,
the world and stuff is entertaining, you know,
'cause
back then.
I don't know when these games came out, but I was probably like 4 years old, so it was too hard for me to play some of these games.
1999 a Digimon World.
Yeah, I was 3.
Yep.
Dang, you were young.
Nice.
Yeah, I say we're the same age. Born the same year.
All right,
Yeah, I
Isaiah, what
know.
are your PlayStation 1?
So for me, it is hands down Mega Man X4. That was the
Oh,
greatest PS1 game for me.
It's not
It
surprising me.
X4, huh? I
it
remember
was the
X. Oh, maybe that's the one I played. I played a little bit of this.
So X4, this was the first game in the Mega Man series to have an animated intro, and depending on if you chose to be X or Zero, you also got custom animation for that character. So like the game had budget.
Cool.
The battles are
Nice.
awesome. The music, every stage I can if you play it, I'm like, oh, I know that boss. It was this one. Like it is a good game. I've never beat it, still love it.
Man,
Awesome
what
game.
happened to Mega Man? That's a huge property. I can't believe that. Like, Sega just
Yeah.
it's Sega, right? He did
Nah, it's
Mega Man
Capcom.
or Capcom. Just
Capcom,
dropped
they
off from that.
refused to do anything with it after Mega Man X8. They just quit making them.
Yeah,
Same
probably
with
just
the
that old.
original. Mega Man, the last game he had was Mega Man 11, which is not X. It's like the younger Mega Man.
Like, you wouldn't believe it, but at one point Digimon was way more popular than Pokemon. And
Yeah,
now
back
not
when
a
it
lot of people.
started.
Yeah.
Yeah, one day X will come back. The dude who made the game, he did a Kickstarter a few years ago for Mighty Number 9, which was a terrible game, which I bought.
Hmm.
So, I mean,
I think I
unless
played that.
Capcom, you probably have. If you've probably seen it, he looks like Mega Man.
Yeah, it was like it felt like Mega Man. It was like a knockoff Mega Man. And I didn't think it was bad, but I wasn't a huge Mega Man fan, so for its type of game, having not played a ton, it was not
Yeah.
super challenging to the point where I was like, I was just frustrated, I'm done, but it was still had a level of
Mm-hmm.
challenge.
In this game, I accidentally purchased twice when I was younger. So we had it on the PS1 for as long as I can remember, and then when the PS2 came out, my dad did an auction on eBay and got this game again for 1 penny. But he didn't realize that we had it already. So I was like, I'm not cool. 2 copies?
Deal.
Twice
Nice,
the game.
Twice the game. Still
definitely.
never beat it.
Oh, and I still own it too.
That
Scratched up
doesn't
as
mean it's not a
heck.
great game though.
That's right.
So then on PS2, for me, it's gonna be Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal.
After what?
One of the best Up Your Arsenal. Uh, it's to me one of the best in all of the Ratchet and Clank series still. But Doctor Nefarious was introduced in there. It had some
Beautiful
mechanics in the
man.
game that I wish would
Robot.
come back that kind of haven't. I guess they kind of did in Tools of Destruction
Type it in.
because they want to have the. Yeah, okay. Whoops, my bad. I wonder if it'll come up I put Ratchet and Clank 3. Just make it easier. Yeah, there we go. But you have skydiving segments. That was awesome. I think it'd be really cool with the better graphics and everything. Now to have them again. And just kind of when you're in there with the Galactic Rangers, the battles just felt a little bit bigger, I guess.
Mm.
I didn't have online, so I didn't play online, but I played the co-op locally, and that was pretty fun. That was like super easy to like just screen hack because screens are right next to each other, and it's like you can see where you are. But it had some really good weapons. My favorites were probably the plasma whip because of the tech more than anything, like being able to see the thing kind of flop around and spit plasma all over the ground was pretty
That was
cool.
a good one.
And the highest level Quacko Ray, because you could like summon a demon flying duck thing.
Beautiful.
Search it.
Does that game have the one with the Mr. Robot or whatever?
It has
Mr. Zircon.
no, Mr. Zircon's not in there.
Oh, okay.
Is he
'Cause the
not?
newer
When did he come in?
He came in Tools of Destruction.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
And what a
you still
classic
can't find
weapon.
it. But you could,
Is that the demon
turn
duck?
people to ducks. No, that's not the demon duck.
Oh.
But I tried to search max level. He'll fly around. He looks pretty freaky. I can look it up. Maybe that'll search the right thing.
Losing
Not seeing
more
him.
and more images. And you
Yeah,
got too many things
Can't wait
typed
to
in.
specific quark. Search quark. Yeah, but look it up on your own. and it looks great because I don't want to take too much time on it. But that one, and then the N90 Hurricane. Oh my goodness! Still, this is the N60, the lower level, but it's still to me. Here we go. Like the coolest rifle in all the games. Like I want a newer looking one of that weapon. It just looks. It's simple, but I thought it's just a really good rifle weapon out of the series that I wish I could see again. But, yeah.
Hey, Ryan.
All right, PS2. This is a big one for me. This is my all-time favorite.
He's
It
already
is.
typing it.
There it is. Jack 3. That's the one.
Oh, I already know.
My boy knows me.
Got angrier and angrier.
He got
Uh,
angrier and angrier. At
Has
least
there
got
been
Red
a
Bull.
single conversation where I have not mentioned this game? Probably not. Yeah, made by Naughty Dog, who now,
Shout out.
of course, of world acclaim. They were my favorites back before it was cool, but whatever. They have
You
long
don't get a
since
gold star,
abandoned my
sorry.
franchise. Yeah, but this is where their incredible storytelling chops. This is where it was born. Uh, Weirdly enough, this is the first game in the franchise that I played. We were at a
Really?
friend's house and he's playing it, driving some crazy looking car across a desert, blowing up some other crazy looking cars. Like, what the heck is this game? Lets me borrow it. Blew my mind. It was I think this was like the first game that I played that had its own like original, unique, fully fleshed out story. Like I didn't even know that games could do that before this. Um, and then of course it's just in this crazy imaginative worlds with like ancient robotic technology and weird eco powers and this little hilarious rat on your shoulder who's just awesome. Sick guns, sick weapons, cool armor. Uh Funny characters, interesting characters, cool world.
Oh yeah,
Man,
lots of personality.
so much personality, so good. I could talk
It's
about this game forever.
such a world that is still has so much to discover. You know, like there's so many more
Yeah.
new things that could introduce that world build and character build. Like you know, his what is it? Jack is well, I guess it's a spoiler. I don't know. We're good with spoilers since these are old games, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Jack
Buy the
is
bundle on
Mars.
PS4. They're worth it.
Mars is Jack. Is that correct?
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know who Mars is.
So he's in this
That's cool.
story. He's
Mar. It's
basically a
fine.
legendary hero of the
Yeah.
past. You know, like, but by the end of the third game, I think it is. That's when you find out that you're actually that's who you are. Um, it's just like all these stories that make you legendary.
If you really want to get into it, it is unclear if when Ashlyn is saying, "Wait, Jack is Mar, the Mar." I mean, she says the Mar, so we're thinking, okay, the Mar, the ancient figure that founded the city and all that, the one that everybody knows about. It's possible that she's just making the connection that he is also, major spoilers, the child that was in the second game before the whole time travel thing came into play. I'm telling you, these stories are bonkers. It's amazing. She could just be
Bonkers.
making that connection because she already knew who this kid
Mhm.
was, and she's like, "Oh, Jack is that guy. He's Mark." Anyway,
Mhm.
that it could be that that's what the discovery is. Although it's generally accepted that yeah, Jack is the the Mar who built the city and stopped the metalheads, and uh, he's already been traveling through time. So what's to stop him from just keeping doing it?
Yep.
Oh, look at that. That was a
So
sick
it's
picture. That's
like
so good.
there's just so many more stories that could be told
Yeah.
through knowing just those things. Like there's more you,
Hmm.
that you haven't experienced that you could.
Yeah. It's not quite the infinite playground that like Ratchet and Clank would be, but there's still a lot of room for very cool stuff to happen in this franchise, and it's very sad that it seemingly has been shelved indefinitely. But of course, a 3D platformer, which I didn't say, but this was probably where my love for it, the genre, began. The double jump, the game's got a double jump. I'm gonna like it a lot more.
Even if it's a delayed
Jumping and
double jump?
punching. That's what I want to do. A what?
Even if it's a delayed double jump? You
A
can't just like
delayed
spam.
double jump.
You have to actually press and then there's a pause. At least in the first game, I remember. You have to jump and then jump again. You can't like jump. Jump, jump.
Huh.
You know what I'm talking about? Like
No.
just spam the jump button and see if it does anything weird, I guess.
Okay.
Not a
All
real
right. I'll
fan.
check it out.
Pull it up right now.
I was almost positive
I don't know what you're talking
it
about.
could be another game that has it, but I know
That's
there's
probably just when you're playing it on the emulator. It's all broken.
I don't play on the emulator. I have the
Okay, all right.
games.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna play these games again soon. There was a good stretch of time where, like, I was still living at home, but every summer I would just play these games again. Just probably all the way
Nice.
through middle school and high school. It's like May comes around. Oh yeah, it's jack time, baby. Let's jack things up.
It's Jack
Even Jack
time.
X?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Ryan was jacking it. All right.
No takesies, backsies. Already said it.
I said what I said. Jack X was also good. That came into the picture later. But yeah, combat
Isn't that a
racing,
racing?
super awesome. Yeah, cars and guns. What? It was
What?
cool.
Guns on
It was
cars.
good.
Oh man, co-op in that? So fun.
Yeah.
Like split screen, I guess. The AI wasn't terrible, you know. But Cheyenne, what do you got? PS2.
PS2 and PS3 are a bit harder for me, so I put Kingdom Hearts.
Whoops.
Nice.
1 or 2.
Just the first one.
Oh,
Okay.
OG. OG.
I wasn't sure. I don't know if I wasn't sure if Kingdom Hearts 2 came out on PS2, but I was thinking of Kingdom Hearts because
It did,
where it
indeed.
started all.
They waited 2 more console generations before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out.
Yeah.
It's
But-
been 84 years.
What makes Kingdom Hearts 1 so great?
I don't know. I just really like the story of it. I didn't get to play it when it first came out, but like all of my friends played it when it came out, and it was just really cool to like see it because I was already into anime by that time. And so it was like game anime, which was really cool to me. Also, it had Disney, and I love Disney.
Back in the
Heck
day,
yeah.
when Kingdom Hearts 1 was the only thing that existed, and it was just like the story was so golden because it was so simple. And then they just
And
went
now I have no
crazy.
idea what's going on, but I still love it. You should type in Kingdom Hearts concept art. You get cooler results.
The covers aren't cool, Cheyenne. Come
They
on.
are cool, but they're not every single photo.
Hey, be careful looking for fan art. You might find something you don't want to see, man.
No, I said
Oh.
concept art.
Official, yeah, stick with official concept art, yeah.
I also like that person's style. I don't know who draws most of it, but I like their style.
Yeah,
The concept art?
This
Yeah.
guy, I
Yeah.
thought is the director of the game. He did the like cover art stuff, or at least his
It's
Yeah.
style.
entirely possible.
That's the guy who makes the art for Final Fantasy VII as
Uh-huh.
well.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all the same. But I don't know Final Fantasy as well, so sorry to whoever listens to this. I do not know
What?
Final
They're in
Fantasy.
Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know any of them.
I know those characters from Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally.
They might be Final Fantasy characters, but to me, they're Kingdom Hearts characters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here they are.
So,
Cloud
they
and
get so
Leon.
much hate. Okay, I will say I did know Cloud was in. I did recognize Cloud from Final Fantasy, even though I didn't play the games. I
You're
knew him already in Final Fantasy.
damn right you recognized him.
Zach,
hair.
not so much, but
Spiky hair. I love the part in, I don't know if it's Kingdom Hearts 2. Yeah, I think it is. Where what's her name? Dang
Kyrie.
it. No, the girl who's looking for Cloud.
Yuffie.
I'm calling him like
Or
Yuffie?
Tifa.
Tifa. Tifa's
That
looking
was
for.
supposed to be.
Yeah, I know.
Tifa?
Don't worry about it, Shiny. We're gonna talk about that. Tifa is looking for Cloud, and she sees you. She's like, "I'm looking for someone with spiky hair," and Sora's like pokes his spiky hair, and she's like, "Spikier." And I'm like, "What? Cloud's hair's
Spikier.
just as spiky, if not less spiky than Sora's."
He's got less
Crazy.
spikes, but they stick straight up in the air.
Yeah, that's true. I guess they're up more. Yeah. I just thought
This
it
was
was
a
funny
big
scene.
game for me as well. Purely the Disney factor, and the
Mm.
Japanese stuff
Yeah.
was secondary. But it's I to this day the most Japanese game that I've ever played. And
Or ever will
much of it
play.
is incomprehensible. But you know what? Many
10 out of 10,
things
I'll
were
still
not
play
I
it.
did not understand as a child, and so when something can make me just as confused now, it's enjoyable. I don't know what's going on, but look, I got Donald and Goofy. Who cares?
I don't know what's going on, but I'm having fun.
That's all you need. All right, Isaiah, what's your PS2?
It is Sonic Heroes.
Hey.
This was a 2005 game. I was 10, so you got to imagine that dopamine hit was large. You could play as 4 different teams. You had Team Sonic, Shadow, Team Rose, and Team Chow, or Chaotix. This again sold me with the opening song because they had a little video with it. It's hard rock and roll. It felt really good. You got to play as, what is it, like 12 different characters. Each team had 3. They all did different abilities. It's still revered in the Sonic community as one of the better games of all the crap that they make. So this one definitely defined my childhood, and this was the only game that I rented twice at Blockbuster, and I got in trouble for that.
Why?
Because they were like, "Well, if we're spending money, why are you You already played it. We don't want to spend this money again."
You told them it was a different game.
Oh.
Lied to your parents.
I should have, but I mean, I ended up getting it for
Greatest
Christmas, so they
hits.
didn't have to rent. Yeah,
That.
Nice.
You don't
That's
see
cool.
that on many Sega games.
that's right.
That they
You
sold
sure
that many
don't.
copies.
Yeah.
Did you know? I discovered this recently that in a regular PlayStation 2 game, the manual is colored, but inside of a greatest hits, it's black and white.
Yeah,
No.
weird,
I
isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't know that, but it is.
I don't
didn't
know that
either.
I had a greatest hits copy that was new. I think all my games are used, so
Mm.
many of them don't have manuals anyway.
Oh man, the day when they had physical manuals. Those went out a long time ago. What was cool is the manuals that had things that were important in them. Like let's see.
Map or something.
I probably can't find it, but Harvest Moon, one of the PS2 games. Let's see if I can find out which one it is. This one here. The manual on this game, Save the Homeland. It had birthdays of characters that you wouldn't have known otherwise. And that was how you knew when to give them a gift. If you gave them like a gift on their birthday when the season came around, then it would like
Oh, that's cool.
do something special. But yeah, that was in the manual. Like you could look it up obviously on the internet because the internet was a thing at this point. But if it wasn't, and you didn't have your manual, you wouldn't have known when to like actually go and do that. If I remember correctly, there may
cool.
have been something in the game where if you talk to them, you can find out from them. But I just remember my sister using it to do that. I played a little bit of it, but I'm not a huge farming sim person, so leave that up to Cheyenne.
Isaiah
All right.
mentioned the intro music and cutscene for Sonic. I can't believe we didn't mention the same thing for Kingdom Hearts. That intro
Simple and clean.
cinematic was a trip for a young child.
Every
yeah.
single time.
Incredible music all throughout the game. Incredible music, but the song in that intro,
The
Yeah,
life-changing.
Haru Tada, man, she knows how to sing.
The
who that
orchestral
is?
renditions at the end of each game
Oh,
too.
dude,
Oh, man.
heartbreaking! Oh my gosh, incredible.
I might have to do an episode on that, or that'll be within one of the episodes. Is
The
revisiting
music of
endings.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, the music of Kingdom Hearts. I'm down.
That'd be hard to get a copyright strike, but Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I don't know music well enough to actually discuss it, but I can gush.
Um, so then PS3,
For PS3 now. Yep.
Last of Us is my
Of
top
course.
PS3 game.
Gotta.
Groundbreaking at its time to me in terms of character
Still.
performance. Yes, and it that was another thing I had a note on, was that it still holds up now. Like, Ryan and I played the multiplayer recently, and
Mhm.
it's still pretty fun. It takes a bit getting used to. I would say it does have a little bit of a slowness to it, like movement wise. That's just the game itself. But I wouldn't say it's a negative. I think it's just how it is. Um, and it's just funny, the graphics, because I remember when Part One came out, the remake. Looking at it, I was like, these graphics aren't like that different. It's just like the remaster. It doesn't look that different. And then you look at them
Yeah.
side by side, and you're like, oh my goodness, the graphics are
Blow
so
your
much
way.
better.
Insane.
So that's how
Yep.
much they still hold up. Is they don't when you look at something current, but they do when you don't. You think they look just as good as anything now until you see something now. But
Yep.
yeah, that's my PS3 one.
Yeah. The Last of Us really another Naughty Dog game, by the way. You're welcome. The Last of Us really solidified Naughty Dog's position as the games that Naughty Dog makes. Everyone else is trying to make them for the next 5 years. Naughty Dog is always 5 years ahead in terms of tech and fidelity and narrative storytelling. The Last of Us was the benchmark for the next 5 years until Uncharted 4 came out, and then that was the benchmark for the next 5 years. And then Last of Us Part 2 again.
Yeah, I'm playing Last of Us Part
They
2
are
with my
very
brother,
far ahead of the rest of the industry.
and I was like, look at these graphics.
Eh.
Like, compare this to now,
Mhm.
and they're really not far off. And it is an end of generation title, so, but it's like been a couple years now, I guess, since it's been out. So it's pretty cool
Well,
how
I
it's still holding
mean,
up, and it probably will for
and
a while.
frankly, we're watching the RE4 remake, which should be, cutting edge graphical technology. It's like it looks almost as good as the original The Last of Us, in my opinion. So it's
Yeah, but
still.
that's your bias.
Well, no, I
I think
mean,
a little bit.
there's some like weird texture stuff that it
Yeah.
still looks very good. I don't want to bash RE4 remake at all, but it's like that's just how far ahead Naughty Dog is, that even the original The Last of Us, which has been ported and then now remade, it still holds up compared to some games that are coming out. Like it it still looks that good.
I think I'd probably put RE4 Remake with Last of Us Part 2. But I don't think I'd say
Okay,
Last of Us
sure.
1. Like on
I,
Yeah.
I
PS3.
have only
PS3 is way
seen it
back.
through this one compressed YouTube video. So yeah, sure.
Hey,
I
Ryan,
will see the point.
you need
Yes.
to play RE2 Remake. I need to give that to you,
Yeah.
then you'll come to me later.
I'm gonna have to have you in chat with me or something while I'm playing that, because
Yeah, we'll see how bad the
What?
graphics are then.
RE2? You can't play RE2? Have you tried?
I mean, I don't need to try to know it's gonna be very scary.
Oh no, it's not that. Well, okay, I guess Mr. X.
For me,
Scarier
I cannot
three.
handle it. No.
Yeah, I mean,
Even
okay.
even scary games
Not too
that I
bad.
love, I will try to play it again. Like, nah, no, I get it. I've played it. I know what's happening.
Well,
Like
there's.
BioShock, Alien Isolation, even The Last of Us. Sometimes I'll like go back and try to play it, and like one chapter in, I'm like,
Oh man,
there's
okay,
a
you need to go
lot of
easy
scary
then.
stuff to come.
Because Isaiah, you might disagree with me, but I think the Resident Evil games, other than 7 and like 8, aren't really horror games. They're really just like survival. Like RE2
Wouldn't
didn't
that be
seem
the
to have
same thing?
didn't have jump scares and stuff, like things that
What?
terrify you.
Yeah, RE2
RE2,
had some jump scares. The
maybe like
remake,
a
yeah.
Yeah, like maybe a zombie walking out of a hallway when you didn't expect it to, and like, but it's not like terrifying like in RE8 where you're like solving these puzzles without any weapons in a basement, and there's like a fetus creature who comes crawling down the hallway like PT level
Well,
Silent
yeah, but
Hill.
that was one area though, because
That
after
was
that
only
it
one
didn't,
area in
you
8,
know.
but
Yeah,
in
yeah, only
7
an
that was
8.
pretty much the whole game was creepy
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
7 is definitely scarier than 2. I'll give you that. That's probably the scariest one
Yeah, I just know
for
playing
sure.
it, there wasn't anything that like the atmosphere wasn't built to be terrifying. Like you weren't like afraid to go anywhere. You were just like a
I
window
beg to
breaks,
differ.
and the window breaks. It makes you go, oh, it's not like but it was never like this oppressive feeling of fear. That
Nah,
happened to you in RE2?
there's a few areas where like there's no lights, and it's like, okay, this is stressful.
Hmm. Okay.
Like if you're moving through like, so the area where you crawl under the gate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when you
So like
first
how
get into
that's
the police station
yeah.
type.
So like when you
Okay.
have to
Power hasn't
backtrack
come
through
on
that
yet.
room,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
yeah,
I
and
could
let's
see
say
that.
that if you didn't kill those zombies and now Mr. X is somewhere in the building, yeah, I'm not. That's a scary situation.
He's the scariest part. What scares me about him more than anything was his AI. Like the way he was able to never stop following you until you get to certain key points in the game was
Hmm.
like I didn't see that coming. I was like, oh, okay, it's gone. Whew, all right, we're good. And then he was just like there again. It was just that was pretty terrifying, but it wasn't like I don't know, maybe it's because I've played it so many times, it's just like it feels like an action game to me rather than a horror game.
Probably. We're off
Like
topic. We're off
Left 4
topic.
Dead, I was never scared of Left 4 Dead, and that was, because it just felt like as soon as a zombie shows up, I can just kill it. Yeah, sorry, that was a little off topic,
Yeah, let's
but
reset it. We gotta get this
PS3.
moving.
Yeah,
It's Ryan's
Ryan
fault.
Yeah, probably. Because I'm such a chicken.
calling out the crap.
Anyway. All right. PS3, man, is there a lot to choose from? As I'm sitting here thinking about this, uh, Uncharted 3 is really creeping up there. Like, I love that game, but I think I got to give my favorite to Mason's own franchise, Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time.
Oh, yeah, the best one of all
Uh,
the games.
absolutely. And still, like, just another 3D platformer, of course, my bread and butter. Wonderful story, wonderfully paced, awesome gameplay. Um, Ratchet and Clank are separated, so it kind of goes back and forth a little bit, giving you different types of gameplay between the different levels. The weapons evolve naturally and easily, and just get more and more fun as you go along without feeling like you're really restricted early on. Visually stunning, like still think it holds up. I really desperately want at least a port. I'm just a port of this game
Yeah.
onto modern hardware would be incredible because it's still, I think it says on the box, like the quoting from someone's review is like Pixar quality animation in a
Mhm.
video game. And I totally agree. Like they've only gotten better since then, but this game still absolutely holds up. Um, a prime example of why I love stylized art style in games. It just becomes timeless. Like what we were just talking about, The Last of Us looks incredible, but going back because it's aiming for realism, you can kind of see how it's starting to look dated, and then a remake does it good to look even more realistic. When you're making a stylized game, something about it just lives on forever, and it just still looks beautiful. Even going back to Jack 3, my favorite PS2. I still think it looks really good. The only limitation being like the resolution that it is rendered at. But yeah, super fun game, super good looking. great story with characters that we love. Doctor Nefarious in his prime is amazing.
It was to me like Tools of Destruction was good story wise. Like it began the more connected, cohesive storyline that was more cinematic. But like this game
Yes. Yep.
was top tier
So
storytelling
cinematic.
within the series. So
Mhm.
because before the PS3 series games trilogy, I guess, it was very episodic. Like it didn't really feel like
Yep.
directly connected. It was just like the misadventures of this Lombax and a robot, you know. But then it
The
was like
original PS2 games, yeah.
really getting into it. And Rift Apart, you know, builds off of it, off
Yeah.
of this energy from the future series. I guess what it usually is called.
Yep.
But yeah, this one's still, which that so Rift Apart had great storytelling still, but to me this one was the like
Still, yeah, not quite to this level though. Yeah.
yeah.
Crack in Time,
It
still
gave you
unsurpassed.
it gave you another Lombax, which then you thought was gonna build more
Yeah.
into the lore of the Lombaxes being missing and everything, but it seems like it didn't like give you more. Like this one felt like it gave
Yeah.
you more to think about with that with Azimuth. Azimuth?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Alistair Azimuth.
Yeah. And his whole, personal conflict is just the best of the series. It is.
Yeah. Wonderful game.
Cheyenne, what do you got? PS3.
Mine is once more kind of a stretch, but I picked Borderlands 2. Yeah, Borderlands 2.
Oh yeah, we played that together.
Yeah, we played that one on the PS4, granted, but
Mm-hmm.
I still thought it was fun.
So that counts,
Oh yeah.
playing a
Uh-huh.
game on a future generation like
Mhm.
Spyro. Yeah, good pick. Good pick. Keep going.
Yours was a remake. This was just a remaster for that console. But yeah,
Whatever.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think I've ever played on a PS2 or a PS3, so I have to.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because my
Huh.
brother was the one with all the consoles. I had the Game
Sure.
Boys.
Gotcha.
I did, however,
Huh.
play for original PlayStation because that was handed to me once Cole got the PS2.
Gotcha.
all right. Who's your favorite character in the Borderlands? In Borderlands 2, let's go with that. DLC included.
Is Zero in this one?
Yeah, this who you played as.
Yeah. We played them all together, so I'm
Mhm.
gonna run characters together, but I really
Yeah.
liked playing as Zero. He was pretty cool. Or
Tiny Tina.
I do like Tiny Tina. She was great. I was thinking of people that you play as.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Yeah, no, everybody.
who
These are
was
examples, but
who's the older guy I played as? Oh, is there? Oh, he's probably not in this one. No, he's not in this one, I don't think.
2003.
Yeah,
Winter
I think that's
Soldier character. I can't remember this either.
it's like
Because I never
I don't
played it.
know. I almost want to think it's Maverick, but it's not Maverick.
Mhm.
I bet I'm thinking of Malachi, but that's not his name either.
Not Torg either. Torg is in
Torque
it
is
in the DLC.
funny. I do like Torque.
He's
That
the
sentence
only
had too many
character.
syllables. Apologize.
He's the only character that gets bleeped out in the game. It's so hilarious because he swears so much, but it all gets bleeped out, and everybody else swears plenty, but he's the only one
And
who
it,
gets bleeped.
the occasional claptrap, except for oh man, I don't know if that was in
Mm.
Borderlands 2, but the one DLC that we had where it was like zombies, and
Yeah, I think it's
anytime
the
you went to the
first
oh,
game.
okay. If
Yeah.
you went to like the center of the town, there was a claptrap, and he did nothing but oh my gosh, he was nonstop talking the whole time, until another claptrap that was way more serious killed him, and it was just like deadly quiet. I'm like,
Hmm.
wow, it's really quiet here. Why is that? And then we found the
Eerie.
new claptrap. We're like, oh, that's why.
Yep. Great personality in those games. I haven't played the newest one. Probably wait till it goes on sale sometime in the future, but fun games.
Yeah, those are pretty fun. Those are like the only first-person shooters I think I actually like.
Yep. Isaiah, what's your PS3 fave?
PS3, it is Marvel versus Capcom 3, which is the only fighting game that'll be on this list, I'm sure, from everybody.
Really? Oh, I thought you
Most
were gonna say
definitely.
in terms of like you're not gonna have
It's
one on
so
PS4.
is Soul Calibur a
Well,
fighting game? Is that a
yeah, it's a
game?
fighting
Calibur
game.
is, yeah.
I really like Soul Calibur. I think
It's a
that's on
good one.
PS4.
Oh, you played it? I didn't know.
At a friend's
So,
house.
Marvel 3 was this was the one this is the most serious I've taken a fighting game of all the ones I've played. I got the most hours on any console on this game still, and I still play it because I rebought it on the 4 digitally.
Nice.
And a weird thing about this game, which a lot of people don't like, but I was so young when I got it in 2011 that I didn't care, is this was before DLC was implemented on the PlayStation and Xbox. So this game came out and it had whatever amount of characters it had. Well, they re-released the game and called it Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which included 4 new characters and costumes, but they charged you full price again in GameStop to get this game, which I paid again because I loved it that much.
How long after was that?
This was 2 months.
What?
Yeah, I think 2 or 4 months. Like, it was quick.
Between the initial release and the
The
ultimate
release.
release.
Yeah.
It
And
must have
people
been
were
for
very
added
upset,
characters.
and I was very happy.
What? I mean, that's basically just full price DLC. Dang.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
pretty bad.
Uh,
It's still it's still a very competitive game. It still is at a lot of tournaments. It's still beloved, and to a lot of people, it's still the best game of the fighting franchise, aside from Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
I used to have a
Who's your
sweater
favorite?
with Marvel vs. Capcom on it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I got a shirt with it.
Which character is
I
your
played.
main?
Oh,
Sorry.
no, go ahead.
Yeah.
So in these games, it's a party of 3 that you play with. So my top 3 characters that I always play with are Zero from Mega Man X, Virgil from Devil May Cry, and Akuma from Street Fighter.
Nice. What do you have,
I
Ryan?
played PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale.
I
How
still
does
got
that?
that game
How does that
stuck.
hold up? Oh, does it? Okay.
It does
Well,
not hold up. It
Smash
did
Bros.
have
knockoff.
DLC.
I had a lot of fun for the month and a half that people were actually playing it online.
Yep.
And
As
then I
a
played it in spots.
PlayStation fan, of a fan of pretty much all PlayStation IPs that were in that game,
Yes.
it was amazing.
Yes.
Terrible gameplay on a
Yes.
fighting game level, but an amazing like homage to the series of games they had. Like
I could
mashing
not
up.
agree more.
It's just like you're playing Ratchet and
Yeah.
Clank, and then what they had Uncharted come in the middle of that one, or I don't remember all the different mix-ups, but
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's like
Patapon,
a
God of War
each character would have like a primary
level.
antagonist or whatever, like at the end. If you play their like story mode, you'd fight everyone, but at the end it was like their big challenger. In the intro cinematic, it had people facing off against each other. So I think it was Jack and Ratchet facing each other, and then Nathan Drake and Sly Cooper were facing each other, Kratos and Sweet Tooth. But then you get like Big Daddy from Bioshock against Sackboy. It's like some of them were very equally matched, and some of them were just hilarious
Big Daddy was my favorite,
pair ups.
but I wasn't like great at it, and he's not like the greatest. But man, I loved Big Daddy.
Also, to fix my prior comment, the gap between the games were 9 months. Sorry, 9 months.
That makes
Okay,
more
right.
sense. I was gonna say 2 months. It's insane. Oh, okay. Ratchet and Clank's map mixes with God of War.
Oh right, yeah. I forgot about that. The maps themselves.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was talking. Yeah, it's how they mash up
Okay.
the maps. Like will transform
I gotcha.
midway.
Yeah, yeah.
So like it's God of War Hades, but then Patapon will come in here and start chucking spears at
Yeah.
him, and he'll start to do like different actions.
It's a shame that that game fell apart so quickly. It wasn't enough characters. It was kind of
This
boring.
level, it
This
built
one?
the level around you, the little big planet
Yeah.
one. Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, this game was just kind of lackluster.
yeah. It definitely was
As
as
he
a
said,
fighting game, but
yeah.
for a
As a
super fan,
PlayStation fan, it was
yeah.
awesome. But yeah.
Ah,
Objectively, it was not good.
This is technically a party game like Smash Brothers. It's not
Mhm.
considered a
yeah,
fighting game.
yeah.
Oh,
Is that what
sure.
they call
Okay.
Smash Brothers? It's not a fighter. It's a
Well,
party.
it's a topic of contention, but it is indeed a party game.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It is not comparative to Marvel versus Capcom in terms of the type
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
fighting game, but yes, much more
So you
comparative
like
to Super Smash.
know all kinds of combos and stuff then for Marvel vs. Capcom?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do any like insta kill moves because I don't practice them, but yeah, I'm pretty good.
Cool, cool.
All right.
I'm a button
PS.
masher. I'm not good at fighting games.
And that's the
Yeah.
one for you. That
Yes.
game it
Caliber's great
rewards
for
button
button
mashers.
My
Mm.
friend who played a lot of that. Soul Calibur, go in there and button mash, and I win every once in a while. Yeah.
That's
It
how I win.
works. It works sometimes.
But yeah, PS4. Here we go. Final generation.
Okay.
Is gonna be God of War.
Really?
Similarly
Wow.
to The Last of Us, I felt like it was a huge, like, groundbreaking type title for the console.
Hold on, which God
Um,
of War? Talking about God of
the
War 4?
2018 God of
Oh,
War
okay.
on PS4.
All right,
Yeah,
because
it's
there
the only
was
one
another
on
one
PS4.
before on
Yeah.
PS4.
Really?
Oh,
Said
was
it
was it?
was on PS3. Pretty
Oh,
sure that came
maybe.
out, but maybe they have some, like the God of War fiction or something.
3 got ported, but
Okay.
yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about the 2018. The
Boy.
best combat system, I think, in any game, personally, in my opinion, of that genre, like action RPG, best combat system ever. And
You're talking about the Game of the Year game, God of War?
yes.
Oh,
Fill me.
man.
What?
Okay, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, I heard
Stick
that
with your
had Game of the
method
Yeah,
here.
right
Year.
here.
I heard it
Yeah,
won multiple
it won.
awards. Oh, wow.
It did. Yep. And that's how good it was. Yes. Amazing. And I'm super excited for
Top row, third from the right on those
Top row.
pictures.
this.
Yeah, right there.
Somebody modded on
Oh,
PC.
I thought it was Jack 4. I got excited.
Oh wait, no, this is Ragnarok. Spoilers, don't look.
Oh crap, is it? Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan.
Now we know this is Squirrel jumping your shoulder, Jack and Daxter
Great.
style.
If he sounds like
Spoiled.
Dexter, oh my gosh, I'm gonna freak out.
Somebody's about even more
Oh
hyped
my
for this
gosh.
game.
Oh no. Okay, put 2018, 2016, whatever it is, put that up there. So
2018.
is it? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's still gonna
Okay.
bring up Ragnarok because that's new.
Golly.
Yeah, just watch out. We'll just have this one picture.
Okay.
I
that's-
said
all
my
right.
I said my part
I want to look
already.
at the giant snake.
Oh
The-
goodness.
The serpent.
That's cool.
story-
Yeah, that's
World
first
Eater.
game.
The story's great. And visually amazing. What a ride. Just like the scale of the battles is a whole nother level from like the previous God of War games. Like you fought giant creatures and stuff, but I don't know. They just did the scale so well.
Mm.
And I mean, there's a whole lot. I could do a whole episode on wanting to break down everything I love about this game, but keep it short. Mainly the combat and the story is the core parts. All right. Ryan.
All right. PS4.
Uh-huh.
We
God
are
of War.
deviating from my trend. No.
Oh, okay.
There is very slightly even a jump button at all in this game, but it's there. It is not a platformer. It is
Oh.
none other then one of the greatest games of all time, Red Dead Redemption 2.
You can do a little skip.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you get like 6 inches of air. Yeah, it's great. Just cinematically beautiful, massive world, incredible landscapes, um, a story that I did not have any clue I was going to get so invested into. Such an emotional ending. I played the first game on PS3 and liked it a lot, but this one, there's something special about this game. It's even now, what is it, 4 years after this game came out, people are like finding things that it's just so incredibly deep. I never even went that deep into it. I just stayed on the main storyline, but just a incredibly memorable experience that, like, the music is so good, and I still find myself thinking about it every now and again.
It's interesting.
I
You
really
won't
want to
play it.
play it again, but it's going to be such a commitment. I need to fully be able to commit to it, to give it every drop of attention that it deserves, because it's that good. Um, I would love a PS5 port of it. I don't know if that's going to happen, but just like silly things about it, but like so there's this gameplay mechanic where you can, well, gameplay, but you can do kind of a cinematic camera as you're traveling, as you're riding by horseback down the road. The horse will follow the road on its own, so you don't really need to control it, but it gives you nice camera angles and stuff. Um, I had that turned on, and then I stepped away from the console for a bit to just get a snack or something like that. Before I could return, I was ambushed by bandits on the road and scrambling to get back to the controller and fight them. Because of my stupidity, they killed my horse.
Oh,
And seriously, it is like one of the most devastating things to ever happen to me in a video game. I still remember that horse. I could not save it. I learned later that there are ways that you can save a horse if they die like that. I was not equipped at the time. I didn't even know. Just horrible. I had no idea I was even so attached to this horse at the time, but it's like completely my fault. I was just being stupid, and
no.
but just an example of how somehow there's some magic in this that I just got so connected to it. Um, yeah, one of one of my all-time favorites.
I watched a video of somebody playing Red Dead Redemption. It's just like a quick TikTok, and they had parked their horse on a railroad track, and then a
Oh
cutscene
no!
happened. And
Oh
when the
no!
cutscene when the cutscene ceased, the horse was on top of the train, and the train was
Oh,
going away.
no!
And so the horse went with it.
Oh no!
And
Survive, but
the dude
Did
was
it?
like running after it for a little bit
Oh
and
my
just
gosh!
like gave up.
uh,
Oh no!
it
It's so
happens.
funny.
It's one of the few games in the world where that could happen.
Yeah. Well, and that it's a glitch that made that happen. Notorious, or open world games are notorious for being glitchy, and this one was a very smooth experience for me all the way through. Like, I didn't,
Same.
so well polished. Rockstar, it's like the only other studio that can compete with Naughty Dog, or, well, technically Naughty Dog is competing with Rockstar, I guess, because they've always been top tier. But yeah, it's like if you're debating who's the best developer in the world, you're talking about Naughty Dog and uh, Rockstar.
I'm not, but
They
okay.
well, okay, all right. I guess that's next week's episode.
Because
Yeah.
technically it'd
I
be
mean,
Nintendo, right?
there could be a
Yeah,
debate,
they're not a developer, that's a
but
publisher.
there could be a debate. But Rockstar, by its merits, is probably one of the biggest and best companies in
Sure.
terms of the content they put out. The numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
GTA franchise is one of the biggest in the
Yeah, but GTA looks
Yeah.
like crap.
Well,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's still 5. They've only re-released it. They haven't
Yep.
actually added anything special. It's the
Right.
modding community has done that.
Yep. GTA 5 is coming up on 10 years old, and it is still in the top 10 games of sales
month.
every single month.
Crazy.
Yep. Isn't that
Always. It dips down a couple of spots when like Call of Duty comes out, and then it's right back up.
I don't
It's
understand.
always there. Like that and Minecraft and like Pokemon or whatever.
Yeah, Tetris is up there, and that looks like crap too.
No, it's
Yeah, they
not.
need to remake Tetris.
I believe they have
for a
multiple
long time.
times.
Yeah.
I'm sure they did last year or this year. Nice. All right, Cheyenne, what do you got for us on PS4?
All right, this is my all-time favorite game. It's Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Sorry, typing it.
I don't know. Spell Odyssey. Oh well.
Just guess. You're probably
Just go
wrong.
for it, it'll fix it.
Yeah, it'll figure it out.
Will it even
Hmm.
load? I don't know. Press enter. What's happening? Okay,
It's
continue.
loading.
What? Assassin's Creed Odyssey. What's so great about that?
It's funny. I love it. I love the gameplay. I love the humor.
Hmm.
I think I mostly love the humor, but yeah, because there's just so much to do in it. It's like never ending. Some of the quests are just absolutely absurd, and the main characters are always so dry, so it just makes it like 3 times funnier. It's also the first game that I ever platinumed by myself, so
You platinumed Odyssey?
yeah.
How
I
long did
have-
that take you? Like 60 hours? 100 hours?
Probably more because I'm really slow.
Oh my gosh.
I have
Wow.
3 platinums. One of them is this game, and then the other 2 are
Wow.
It Takes Two.
PS4,
okay.
PS5 version.
Yeah.
Thanks to me.
Yeah.
2 of your 3 platinums are It Takes Two?
Yep.
It Takes Two and It Gives Two.
Yep, see?
Nice. Wow. I mean, that's an incredible feat to have platinumed Odyssey.
I was so proud of myself.
I liked it a
really-
lot, but what frustrated me was how long it took. It seemed to manufacture gameplay hours, restricting your level to go to the next mission or whatever. But
Did you just say
Yeah,
Odyssey's
that's awesome.
long, but yet your favorite game is Red Dead 2, probably one of the longest games in the world?
honestly, well, so like I said, I mainlined the story, which it still took me 30 hours to complete it.
Yep.
Actually, that was anyway. Not to make it all about my game again, but it came out 2018. I didn't play it till 2020, but I was on a furlough from work. I was home for 2 months straight without working. And so I played Red Dead. That was the first thing I did because I didn't know how long it was going to last. I played Red Dead 9 days in a row, 30 hours total until I finished it. But still, that was like all main quest. That's why I'm saying next time I'd play it, it is going to be like my only hobby for a while because I know there's so much more to that game. But yeah, usually 30 hours is about where I max out, and Odyssey was pushing that, to be honest.
To get a platinum, you have to go.
I really liked it.
Oh yeah, just for
I
the
liked
game.
it because there was so much, like there were other things you could do. That's kind of how I play
Sure.
games. If you can only do the main game, I tend to get pretty bored of it. If I can wander off and do other things, I'm more likely to stick to the game. Because I think I play this game like once a year. I love this game.
Really?
For Jack and Daxter.
Yeah,
She legit
Wow.
be like, "Oh, it's summertime. I should play some Odyssey."
that's literally what goes through
Cool.
my head. I'm like, oh, it feels really nice outside. It's
Yeah, the
summertime. I'm gonna play
Sparta
some Odyssey.
Who doesn't want to go and swim in that water?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, beautiful water. This
will
is the
say
one that had like mythological DLC packs or side quests or whatever.
And the
Is
base
that
game
like
has-
kind of the stuff you're talking about?
I believe all that stuff's in the base game.
Is it?
The
Okay.
Yeah, Medusa's in the base game. Cyclops is stuff. but
There's a
Cool.
DLC for Atlantis, which I did get later on. Like I
Oh,
played the game a
sick.
few times before I got the DLC. And I actually haven't I haven't played the Atlantis DLC yet. I played the first two.
Hey,
I think there's 3 or 4. I played the first 2 and then I got distracted by school or something, so I haven't played the other DLCs yet.
okay.
But yeah,
That does
yeah,
sound pretty sweet, though.
I love this game so much.
this game taught Cheyenne what transmog is. And so
Yeah,
now I can
it's
actually just say it instead of explaining it every time.
Transmog?
even
Yeah,
even though he explains it anyways,
I
I'm
do.
like, I know what it is.
I don't know what that is. You're going to have to explain it.
So transmog is where you can have armor and you can change the
That's
way it
cool.
looks, but maintain the stats.
Oh,
So
yeah, okay.
yeah,
I
Yeah,
feel so
I did know
cool
that
for
there was in this game. I didn't know it was like a thing. I didn't know it had a name.
hmm
I feel so cool now because I knew something Ryan didn't.
Nice. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, yeah.
yep, yep. This was I had really good transmog.
Yeah.
You know a lot of things that I don't. You know how the rest of this game looks. I saw so little of it.
Oh.
All right, Isaiah. Sorry, I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit here.
That's all right.
Finish up.
Mine is Streets of Rage 4 for PS4.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
I haven't
It
played
is
it. It's
Heard
great.
of that.
short and sweet. It's 2D animated. It's a beat 'em up, old school. I played all the other ones on Genesis, so I had to play this one. And I've played this game probably as much as Cheyenne has played Odyssey. I've beaten it over and over, and it doesn't get old. It's so entertaining. I bought all the DLC for it, which there was only one, but you got a lot of additional stuff with it. All the characters. I'm sure some of you guys know, I made 2 animations of a character I would like to see in this game. That's just how much I like this game.
Oh
Wow,
yeah.
nice.
So much. Yeah, they're on our
So this
schedule.
is 2D animated. It's not pixel art, is it?
No, this is cell shaded art.
Oh, that's cool. Pixel art
you
kind
can
of puts
Got
me off, but
lighting.
They have pixel characters in the game. Like you unlock the original characters from the OG games,
oh, okay, okay,
and they're pixelated. But no, it's primarily just cell shade.
Nice.
cool. I bet that looks good in motion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen this
remember-
before.
Just watching a clip of somebody walking down one of the streets and the lighting, the way it plays off the character, which is all 2D, is just like
Mm-hmm.
super nice.
Huh.
Very
Cool.
Also, each song in the game is produced by an entirely different person. So like each world feels extremely unique with the music.
mhm.
Sweet.
Yeah, this either won or was nominated for Game of the Year within maybe
Oh,
5
yeah?
games.
I want to see the dude with the beard.
Oh, the main guy, Axel.
Yeah. Go down.
Is that what you,
The
is
blonde
that what you
beard,
want
bottom
Mason to
right.
look like?
Oh, not a clean
Yes.
picture.
What?
Is that what you want
That's-
Mason to look like? Let the
That's
beard grow out?
That's what
Yes.
Mason looks like.
She wants long hair. She really wants the. I guess I was gonna say bandana, but just headband. I guess.
There's better picture on the bottom right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
your-
yeah, here you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
That's
looks just
Cheyenne.
Ah, what a
like,
man.
There,
What'd you say?
ideal man for Cheyenne.
And if you've
Did
seen
he
this
get that
guy
blonde
from
hair dye?
if you've seen this dude from the original games, it's extremely off-putting at first because he's super young, like he's a teenager in the old games, and now he's
Yeah.
like an old grumpy dude.
Oh, he
His
aged
beard.
with
he's
the
grumpy too?
franchise.
I'm
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Cheyenne
you did
wants to
say
beat the game now.
grumpy old man, huh?
Grumpy old man.
He's checking off all the boxes.
Yep. He's a winner.
He ties his jacket around his waist while he's wearing a jacket.
That's how. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's so 90s. They're all 90s.
Nice
Mhm.
shoes too.
Yeah. Sweet. Well,
Sweet.
that is our final segment for the show today. The still unnamed podcast. It's been great talking about the stuff we love, and that's pretty much what we're about here. We organize a bit on topics and segments, but aside from that, we just like to go with the flow. So, see you guys on the next one.